The pre-game show is for Beaumont Tiles, Subway tiles from $29.95 at Beaumont Tiles. It's been terrific, that 5-minute build-up to it, Burton, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact of having Sellers in here, he just gives you a feeling what it is to be Carlton royalty, doesn't he? And what it means that we sort of think of the past players as robots who look at everything in circumspect nature, and it's all, you can equivocate everything. No, they're nuts, just like the rest of the fans. It's wonderful.
Our travel partner is Bargain Car Rentals Australia, the best price guarantee, no hidden fees, and Australia owned. That's a bargain. Stephen King and Dermot Burton, just share some thoughts back and forth around the strengths of these teams, what they'll be looking for, how we should interpret how they set up.
Well, I think, Jared, first and foremost, both these clubs pride themselves on their work at the contest, so stoppages and clearances is going to be king here, especially tonight here at the Gabba. So I can't wait to see Dunkley go to Cripps. I can't wait to see whether Hewitt goes to Lockie Neal or does he go to McCluggage. It's going to be fascinating around the ball. So whoever under greatest heat can take territory early by winning contested footies, it's going to provide huge momentum for their team.
So if I'm sitting in the Brisbane Lions camp, what do I fear? I fear Charlie getting a favourable matchup because Jack Payne goes out. It exploits either one of Gardner or Ryan Lester, because one of those two will be called to play on a man who's 8 to 9 centimetres taller than him for protracted periods of time. I fear that matchup. I fear what Cripps might be able to do. Big as Dunkley is, Cripps is a beast. He has knocked him over before, Dunkley, earlier this year, and he will not beat him again the same way. He's wounded this time, Cripps, but he will be a bigger spiritual presence. I fear what Cripps might do in the middle. That's if I'm on the Brisbane Lions side of the fence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when Tim Clark spoke earlier, Derm, around Cripps as a student of the game, he would have taken that knowledge from past time. It'd be interesting to see what he does differently from that game they played at Marvel earlier in the year.
So if I'm on the Carlton side, what do I fear? I fear the fact that, are we brave enough to take those kicks when we've been so brave in the back half of the year? We've moved the ball at express pace. We've moved it through dangerous areas at that high speed. Requires perfect kicking out of the back line. Last week we turned it over to Melbourne. We turned it over to Melbourne like we did in the third quarter last week. They'll bang 5 on the board in 12 minutes. That could be the game. How brave do we have to be? And because we have to. If we just go into ourselves down the line, Harris Andrews will have a field day. We're playing to his hands. We have to be brave. I fear what they can do to us if we aren't brave. And if we are brave and we turn it over, that's my fear.
Yeah, absolutely, Derm. If they play slow and straight today, Carlton, and they don't play with that freedom with the ball, they'll just be defending repeat entries, and that's what Brisbane love. They love the territory game. They love to pin it in there. To either create forward 50 stoppages, which they're really good at, or they'll just have to keep defending and tire themselves out. And their electric small forwards will come to the fore.
Yeah, once again, what do I fear? I fear the fact that my paciest backmen are forward attacking backmen and not lockdown backmen. And Charlie Cameron, you look at him and say, I cannot afford to let him get over the back. Do I go with the one bloke who isn't one of my forward running, my playmakers out of the back line? Do I go with Chincotta and utilise his pace? But it's a monstrously big ask for Chincotta to come out in game number 19 and play on the most electric small forward in the comp.
That's right, and I think that's the key. Charlie is so dynamic. You actually do have to have a separate set of rules for him. He's not your usual high half forward. He'll play high, next centre bounce, he'll play out of the goal square. So he's going to ask a lot of the Carlton defenders, and they're going to have a plan for him.
They might be sore now, Jared, but I guarantee you they're going to be a whole lot sorer in 2 hours' time.
Some of the matchups there for Corteva keep growing with Corteva Agri-Science. And then there's the ruck, which is interesting. McInerney's such a strong figure. This is your long suit, Stephen. And we've seen De Koning emerge and what he might be, and Pitnet's sort of your nice blunt instrument to put up against McInerney.
Yeah, I think Carlton have the coverage to actually make it and probably neutralise Oscar's ruck's influence, especially at centre bounce. There's still a cricket pitch here, which is quite unique for AFL venues, so the ball does go high and it is a little bit slippery underfoot, so they're going to play a huge part. As I said, it's centre bounce ground. Whoever can get that ball out of the centre more often than not is going to get first crack at that footy and be dangerous.
McInerney does try to push forward and exploit the opposition ruckman, take a mark. You're not the world's most reliable kick, but if you take marks in your forward line as the on-ball ruckman, it does hurt the opposition. Now, as good as Tom De Koning has been, gee, Robbie sang about him in the post-match in the air. He was fantastic, except when Max Gawn took him inside 15-20, he was able to get to the drop of the ball, keep De Koning off, and outmarked him close. When it was a true stand-up battle of man-on-man marking against each other, he did him.
Yeah, and what I observed watching Oscar is that he's not your traditional natural forward, but what he does do, he's a great teammate, and he goes down to try and block for Joe Danaher, block for Hipwood. He just gets himself in the road and makes it really hard for opposition defenders to get a run and jump at the footy.
Yeah.
Paradigm Aralex active herbicide, reliable wide spectrum weed control in cereals. Nick Dacos has been given the all clear out of the MRO review of last night. So as we forecast on crunch time, the Brownlow favourite is free to go about his grand final week. First the count and then prepare for the grand final. This is third versus fifth, isn't it? Where Carlton finished fifth. They've won their two finals. The Lions, no, they finished second, didn't they? So they belted Port Adelaide out there. So second versus fifth, the ladder for the 7-seed by Suzu MUX.
Good crowd in.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's an amped up crowd too. Cygnet is powering the cool team. Cygnet's Mag family. Power every moment. Australian designed, Australian owned. So what else have you got in your notes, Stephen, that you'd share with us before we start?
Well, I think, as we've mentioned, both forward lines, it's the three tools for Carlton, but I'm more interested in the smalls, the speed and how dynamic Brisbane are forward of the ball. So whether it's Rayner, Charlie Cameron, as we spoke about, but even Zach Bailey, he's someone who I think can have a massive impact tonight. He can only win the ball at stoppage. He's got the speed and explosiveness to take it to the outside, and he's a proven goal kicker here at the Gabba as well. So the tools of Carlton versus the small forwards of Brisbane, that's going to be fascinating to sit here and watch how that plays out.
The warm-ups just paused for a moment for Ream, Australia's favourite. That's steady, hot and strong to observe the formalities. A preliminary final at the Gabba.
The Australian Football League and Premier Partner Toyota would like to welcome you to the 2023 Toyota AFL Finals Series and this prelim between the Brisbane Lions and the Carlton Football Club. The AFL acknowledges the Yagara Turrbal people, the traditional owners of the land we gather on today, and pay our respects to elders past and present. We acknowledge we play our great game on this land and respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and contribution to the game of Australian rules football. To conduct an official welcome to country, please welcome Shannon Ruska.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ancient lands of my people, the Yagara and the Turrbal. This place we have called home for over 65,000 years. This place here is known as Wollongabba, or known as the Gabba, as you know it today. It was a place where tournaments have been sorted by two different tribes that would meet up, and only one winner would go home. The winner. Tonight, you have the Brisbane Lions and Carlton, the two tribes meeting here to do battle. Now there's one chant, as we have 300 different Aboriginal nations, we can't all speak the same language, but we can do one chant, I think, that brings us all together. Now this is Australian rules. So, has anyone heard the chant Aussie, Aussie? Let's do it together on the count of three. 1, 2, 3, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Have a great night!
Awesome. If you're able, would you please now rise and join with the coaches, the players and the umpires for the Australian National Anthem to be performed by Ellen Reid.
They're a singing crowd here at the Gabba, and they are in full and fine voice ahead of this preliminary final. Michael Voss just drifted away. He knows these moments at this ground in the home colours. Now he's in the navy blue, leading an invading force, which is one of the rich storylines that is playing out before us. Our call team is dressed thanks to Ringers Western. They've got you covered, ringerswestern.com.au. It is a beautiful evening here in Brisbane. Some light cloud, patchy overheads. They're coming off the top of 23, and the ground is in superb nick for Toro. Count on it. Our major partner is the TAC. Don't use your phone illegally while driving at TAC. So give us some final thoughts, Stephen King and Dermot Brereton, ahead of the toss of the coin before they take up their positions.
So these games are always about the balance between being brave and being predictable to your teammates. The brave times are when you can execute that 45 kick. You can hit that player who's in space, who can attack. And the times when you say, no, that is too risky. It's not all about be brave and just take that kick every time, because the opposition wake up to it. Be brave at the right times, be predictable at the right times, and you just know and you expect that everybody else is going to bring their absolute best to the table.
That's right, Dermot. I think in a game like this, it's just what you can do as a teammate to make the game easier for the person next to you. And I think we'll see some ferocious contests early in this game. I'm really fascinated. Carlton are a great stoppage team, and they send a number up to support that. What are Brisbane going to do? Are they going to match that with a number up? Because traditionally they do like to play six forwards that allows them to be their best and function as a forward six without having a +1 against them. So will Brisbane match that early? I'm fascinated to see what's going to play out.
Be interesting also to see, we touched on it a little bit before, the two playmakers. Kadeem Coleman, since he's come in to this team at the expense of one of their champions, Daniel Rich, has become the playmaker by foot out of the back line for the Brisbane Lions. And conversely, Nick Newman has become his opposition number at the other end of the ground. The ball gets a calmness about it, and he hits targets when he's able to find a little bit of space. So I think they're probably going to put a bit of work into Nick Newman and try and rush him and try and unsettle him somewhat.
The final word for local experts. Get a job well done with local expert. Our Super Saturday coverage thanks to IMAR. IMAR Trading Insurance, Queensland's tradies mates, presents our Super Saturday coverage all day today. That's IMAR.
Darcy Gardner straight to Charlie Curnow. Harris Andrews to Big Harry.
Opening siren has sounded. A place in the grand final opposite Collingwood up for disputes. It's the Brisbane Lions and Carlton at the Gabba. The Blues won the toss. They'll kick to the left as we look at it in this opening term. McInerney clear tap to initially win it. Rayner charged through, couldn't take the footy. Akers off the ground, hacked it forward for the Blues, but not for long. Charging through the other way was Lester, ran into a dead end. Cripps dragged off the footy. McInerney's kick found its way to Dunkley. Probes out toward the broadcast wing. Closing with great speed is Berry. He dropped the tackle of Boyd. He steadies at the 50. Kicks to the teeth of goal. Free kick. Archie took the mark. It is coming. Did he run too far, Berry?
Too far, Jared.
He called it before he kicked it.
Right. So Newman's ball in the left back pocket. The ball was in mid-air as the contest was called off at the top of the square. So Newman out of half-back for the Blues. Long down the line. Cripps had to fly. Walsh waited underneath. Gets the Blues forward of halfway. Bouncing ball. Harry up to attack it. Doherty's got it. Hand passed it away to Cottrell. Open goal. He's on a bouncing run. He steadies and drives it through. The Blues get the opener. And these fans who have seen so much, they are all ginned up for it.
Well done, Patrick Cripps. We have a look on the car sales, everything you auto, no replay. When he met this contest up on the wing, he flat-handed it. He didn't try and grab it, because if he tries to grab it and mark it overhead, he got there a little bit late, imbalanced. He's just going to cough it up to one of the opposition. He flat-hands it forward like a ruckman's palm down to a teammate in his view. And there, it's all downhill from them with pace.
The Victoria Police scoreboard made for more. A goal to nothing. Walsh was waiting underneath. And Doherty's first touch is a beauty. The bounce leaves the circles and will be called back.
Doherty playing as that high half forward, Jared, coming up to the stoppage. So that'll be interesting to see where he positions himself if there's a repeat.
Right, Leicester would be thinking, gee, I don't want to be chasing that to pace too much.
Tossed out, Pitnet won the tap. Walsh again was waiting underneath. Worked the hand pass to the side for Hewitt. Blues get it up to the 50. Martin worked underneath it by Starcevic, but he didn't mark. Curnow propelled forward. Martin's got it, gives it to Fogarty, runs a loop to find some space. Tosses it up inside the 50. Holland's batted it away. Waiting underneath though. Lions had numbers at it. Berry lays the tackle. Umpire has a good look and he pays holding the ball. It's against Boyd and Berry brings it away quickly. Oh, Bailey had a swinging arm at Hollands as they fought for the ball on the wing. Rayner missed his target going forward, Hipwood, and it slips out of bounds.
Hipwood being picked up by Caleb Marchbank and, of course, Jacob Wiedering in the goal square against Danaher. Sard is picking up Charlie Cameron as well.
Gardner does have Charlie Curnow, as was well forecast. At the throw-in, Lions at half forward. Neal strong at the footy, cleared the way of Cripps, kicks up to full forward. Off hands, it got past Charlie Cameron. Sard did well. Hand pass to Boyd, called up for the occasion. His kick for Cottrell, he set it on his head. Fogarty gets there to be the number at the drop. Back to Boyd.
That's a good run.
Surges his kick down the line. Curnow comes from behind Gardner, who was the big body planted in front. Martin's job to try to tie the ball up. Lions got good numbers at it though. Fed out the side by Gardner. Archie couldn't make much of it. It is over the boundary.
Well, Charlie Curnow's experienced two big body hits from Darcy Gardner so far, so I think it's almost like he's like a boxer, so I'm going to work the body before I actually really engage in contest. But he knows he's in one now, Charlie.
Ruckman lean into each other. McInerney won the tap out in front of Dunkley. Kicks from the boundary inside 50, but he picked out McGovern.
A couple of matchups already, Jared. It looks like Neal is getting followed around by Hewitt. Dunkley's going to Cripps. And even Big Harry here, he's got the job on Harris Andrews, it looks like.
And he presents Harry McKyon, takes a pack mark, runs around Bailey, delivers up inside 50. Spoils were made defensively. Neat little touch came the way of Starcevic, dragged off his kick. Zorko got hold of it, off to Dunkley, close to the boundary. Archie went round and round in the tackle. Akers is able to pick it up, pump the Blues back inside. Martin had a big fly at the pack. It's well scouted underneath. Lester fed it to Andrews for the Lions, who kicks up the wing. Spoils were made, and again Wiedering is there this time for the Blues. Around to Hewitt and then to McGovern. Runs apart to open something up. Kicks in the Martin direction. 5-man pack. Gardner the spoil over the top. Dunkley waits underneath. Off to McKenna. Not a great kick. Turns straight over. Hewitt. Sweeping hand pass, clever play. Cripps had to wait for it to bounce and he got caught in a tackle as a result, holding the ball.
Great tackle, great tackle. 3 high balls that have gone into Carlton's forward line. They've all been spoiled and all have been immediately crumbed by the Brisbane defenders at ground level.
McKenna laid the winning tackle. His kick wasn't up to scratch though. Neal under pressure, off to Coleman, out the side to Dunkley, who can put some sense into it. Hand pass to Lester. Around the boundary he goes. Archie ran into and out of trouble. Hand pass to Zorko, just a battering ram, ran into Boyd, lost the footy, lucky to get away with it. Pull it up. A fight in the aftermath. You'll be shocked to know Zorko's central to it.
It's a hot footy early, Jared. Carlton are really bringing the heat here and playing the territory game in their front half.
Blues have the only goal. Tap came the way of Akers, fed it out to Chera, kicks inside 50. Charlie was outnumbered. And Starcevic across the front takes the intercept mark. So that entry inside 50.
A lot of hang time on it at the moment. That was probably the flattest kick and it still was intercepted in the air.
Starcevic, the outer side to Koning, stands in the pack and repels for flight centre. Wheels out onto the left, so high inside again. Martin took the leap. Spoil made over the top by Andrews and he spoils it right to the boundary.
Kingy, that is the 5th entry they've had in straight lines. I mean, you probably got to send a runner out to some of these midfielders saying, how about we just circumnavigate the 50 and come in from different angles when we can.
Absolutely, they're getting great looks.
De Koning wins the tap. Dunkley stripped of the footy by Walsh. Lions keep numbers around it though. Hand pass came the way of Bailey, who takes the territory but not well. Marchbank stands his ground in front of Hipwood. Plays it out near Wiedering. He'll get it from Chera, who gave the hand pass to the vice-captain. Wiedering tosses it up to half-forward. Martin propelled forwards. That was legal. Starcevic is playing him well. Centering ball for Leicester. He plays it short to Andrews. Lions patient with it in the defensive 50. Out the far side where it's all been played so far. Kick to a 2-on-1 against. Akers brought it to ground and gathers. Keeps it in the field of play. Hand passes it up to Walsh. Pulls the kick from 60. Wants Charlie. Kerno arrived late. Had to make the spoil. Motlop was standing underneath as the Elephants were thundering.
They just haven't been able to control the footy enough here, Jared. Brisbane are putting themselves under too much pressure, which is feeding the front half game for Carlton.
Stephen King for local expert. A job well done. The Blues deep forward at the throw-in. DeConey worked his way to the front. Tapped it down to Chera. No room. Ball it up.
For safety, steel sheds, inside 50s. Brisbane Lions 2, Carlton 9.
So a territorial dominance for the moment. Cripps and Dunkley scrounging in after it. It spills to the next. Berry. Out the side it goes. Jack Martin got it. He's intuitive. He sent it at goal, but he dragged it near side and through from behind. 7 plays 0. Victoria Police made for more scoreboard.
So 10th inside 50, they've got to get some bang for buck because the game won't be played at this end like this in its entirety. Brisbane will get their look sooner or later.
Coleman has the kicking duties long beyond the defensive 50. Hipwood had a fly, didn't time it particularly well. Newman chases the loose ball underneath. Kept it in with a sweeping hand pass to Walsh, who fed it back. Newman kicks the Blues inside 50. Kerno had front position. Mackay brought it to ground behind him. There's some holding going on. It's a Carlton free kick. Harry Mackay.
Jeepers, I'm having a look on the car sales replay here, and I've got a second look at it, and I could not see where it came from. Well, hang on, he's going to go around the corner from 40.
Yes, he doesn't really trust things, Harry Mackay. 40 outs, slight angle to the right. Harry makes his move, he blasts and he goes dead centre.
I believe.
That'll be good for everyone in navy blue. And Carlton are out of the gates. 2-1, 13-0 after 10 minutes on the Makita XGT clock. Power without limits.
There'd be a happy coaches box up there at the moment for Carlton, Derm. Repeat entries, playing the game the right way, getting repeat looks at it. But this is great for them to kick their second goal now and capitalise on some of that dominance. Brisbane now need to respond.
So they're winning at the source, aren't they? And then they've rebounded like a trampoline.
That's right. And Carlton just haven't been able to maintain Brisbane haven't been able to maintain the ball here and own the game for a little bit, take some heat out of it. It's fueling their game. It's fueling Carlton's half-ground game here.
It's a free kick that's very hard to see, Dermot, on the Carsales replay, but it's in the book now. Bounced back in the middle. The tap was rowed by Bailey, who gives it off to McCluggage. High ball for Brisbane inside 50. Danaher launched. He probably should have marked. Dropped it off his chest on the way down, and he's swallowed up by the defenders.
Look, we would have said a great mark, but that's the type of mark you want your key forward to take early in a final to establish himself.
Tap underfoot. Shearer stripped over as he was exiting the stoppage. Newman had to bang it on as a result. Out in front of Hollands, who can go. He kicks to half forward. He's placed it for Mackay. Full tilt right at the boundary. Had to let the footy go. Tipped up over the fence and into the crowd.
That's cricket. They don't pay that catch. He let go of that to guard himself against the fence.
Mackay winds it up to full forward. They want Curnow to leap. Gardner made the spoil. What's underneath it took an awkward bounce. McCluggage gathered, gave it to Bailey, kicks the Lions out. Wiedering flew over the top of Danaher, controlled the footy well. Hand pass to Boyd, so it's coming right back again. Boyd's kick made Chera work. Back to Boyd. Up now to Walsh. Kick inside 50. Didn't get away. It was smothered on the way through. Bouncing ball on the wing. Danaher took it. Boyd chopped the big tree down. Back into dispute. Newman pumped it out wide.
He meant that.
McGovern's on the ball. Kicks up to Walsh. Contested mark. Strong in front of the closing McKenna.
How good was Newman's vision to just a little toe poke out on the 45 to a free player?
Walsh up to full forwards. No flyer underneath. Motlop got it to the boot. No directional penetration about it. Fletcher hauled it in. And it's a free kick. It's been paid as a mark.
Yeah, an 8-metre kick. Now, why it's turning around a lot of the time, I counted forward at a footy, Kingy, and there were 4 Brisbane players forward of the half-back line against about 6 Blues.
Fletcher long on the way out. Rayner's the third man. He should have marked. Fell out of his hands. Hand pass from Berry close to the boundary. He got it back too from Dunkley. Hugs the line with his kick and does well. Hipwood presents on the lead. First real chance for the Lions to build something off the wing. McInerney's the deep target. McCarthy's with him. There are 3 defenders up, and they do the business. Akers, Newman and Picknett out of play.
That's the first controlled football that Brisbane have had forward of the centre.
That's right, Dermot. I mean, the longer it's up the other end of the ground, that's where you lose shape of your forward structure and you just lose control of the ground. So Brisbane need to keep it here for a while now.
2-0 in Carlton's favour. We've gone 13 minutes of the opening term. Lions in attack. McInerney's tap is rowed by Chera, who hacks it down the wing out of the defensive area. That's going to be insufficient intent. Leicester's ball at halfway. Wanders into the field of play, now gets himself moving. Kicks up to centre half forward and beyond. It carried, but Picknett filled the hole well.
Would have been a free kick to Wiedering. Besides the point that he marked, he was held trying to get to that footy.
Picknett, straight lines on the way out. De Koning couldn't quite get there, and McInerney had planted himself in front to take the intercept mark. So Ruckman to Ruckman. The big O.
And again.
Into the pockets. Up went Danaher. Big fly at the pack. McCarthy underneath kept it alive. Berry in close. Around to Zorko. Kick was smothered. Fell the way of Berry. Hand pass to McCarthy in the tackle of Chera. Taken all the way down. Ball spills out. Berry out to Zorko. Out of mid-air. It didn't come off as Motlop filled the hole.
He's going to have to tread water. There's 15 Carlton players inside defensive 50.
Out the near side to Akers, who plays it to Cottrell. Wanted to get it back to Akers, couldn't quite, as Robertson had done well to provide the coverage. So Cottrell long down the line. Gardner against Curnow. Andrews arrives as the third. Spoils right to the boundary. Robertson kept it in. Good play. Sidestep Akers. Lions go forward as a result, but the Blues are so well organised. McGovern slides in behind Hipwood to take the intercept mark.
Harris Andrews is patrolling this wing. Now Harry Mackay comes over to try and put some body on him so he doesn't intercept over the top.
It goes to this 2. Mackay had front position underneath Motlop after the spoil of Andrews. Dragged down by Robertson. Ball up.
So you look at this now. Curno's exited the scene, gone inside 50, and he's already running Darcy Gardner in a way that Gardner's uncomfortable with, trying to chase him back in. Gets to him now.
AFL Nation for Tyre Power. Big footy finals sail. McCluggage rode Hewitt into the ground. Hand pass went sideways to the boundary. Bailey kept it in. Cherra's the first to arrive, though. He tossed the kick low. It was cut off by Coleman.
That's Coleman sitting there off culling, sending a number up to the stoppage, impacting.
Blues have run hot early for Ream, Australia's favourite. That's steady, hot and strong. Coleman short to Fletcher. Father-son in his first year, he's made a big impression. He kicks the Lions to half forwards. Pack collapsed. McGovern's clutching a knee too. Danaher got hold of it. Driving ball into the forward pocket. Cottrell gets back first in defence. He clears the area. It went out, did it?
Yep. He ran
so
over the
all
boundary
the way
line.
back. It'll count. No, McGovern's okay. Just initially a moment of concern as he crumpled to the turf, but he's got himself up. No dramas for Spitwater, high-pressure cleaners.
Danger time here for Carlton's backs, Jared. This is an area of the game Brisbane have been really hot on here. Forward 50 stoppage, dangerous players at ground level.
5 around from the behind post, it's tossed in. Kneels on the ground as it arrives. McInerney spikes it toward the face of goal. It sits and Cottrell.
Oh, that could be.
He just tipped it up as he arrived.
Yes, but he deliberately did it, and there was no one inside the 9 with him to suggest that there was a degree of pressure on him.
You are in the lap of the gods there as to whether the whistle's going to peel or not. Bold play. Blues by 12. Victoria Police made for more scoreboards. Kick in's a good one. Finds Doherty. Links it up with McGovern. Driving ball beyond the middle. Curnow set himself. Gardner's making every spoil for the moment. They chase it underfoot. Hipwood, great turn of pace. Then run down by Jack Martin holding the ball.
That's a tough tackle.
And 50. It was kicked away. Martin's going to the goal square.
What a dream start for Carlton, Doom.
Oh, there's some banging of desks next door, I can tell you.
Don't go too early. Don't go too early.
It was a great tackle. He is a good tackler for a slight man, isn't he?
Jack Martin, point blank. Carlton for the first 3. It is the dream scenario. 3-1-19 Carlton, 1 behind Brisbane. 8 minutes to go in the opening term. Scoreboard for Victoria Police. Say you made for more. Search police careers.
Jared, I think even just that point kick-in was indicative of Carlton's mindset. Short, got over that run, went quickly, went dead straight to centre-half forward and put Brisbane's defenders under immediate pressure.
I think the Brisbane psychology trying to guard that kick-in, they chased all their men out wide and it left a gaping avenue up the middle of the ground where you got that overlap run. It was tremendously well played. McGovern chipped it 25 up the middle from the kick-in and went past at express pace and received the give and get and goes long. And then in the end, what a tackle laid by up in the forward half by Carlton.
Player of the day will be for Le Cabra, home of the GOAT Mexican food. Rayner's after the ball in the middle. He's dragged down by Doherty. Ferocious pressure. Cripps sends it wide. He wanted Motlop, who got a kick inside the 50. Out came Andrews, propelled himself forward. That is stirring defensive play. Out to Fletcher. Had to slip it away to Lester. Pulls the kick down the wing and it fell in short. Akers repels for the Blues. Off to Marchbank. Now to Hewitt, on to Walsh, wider still to Cripps. The kick inside 50 was softened for Doherty.
There is a player out there who had no touch on the footy then that forced that turnover. Jacob Wiedering came off Danaher 25 metres out from the goal square. He came over to the back flank, took the risk, and they looked down the viewfinder and Lester said, I can't kick it long. I've got to go for the short pass, very, very short. It gets turned over. Jacob Wiedering, you created that turnover by being brave and leaving your opponent.
Sam Doherty right of centre. A step or two inside 50. You got to play hurt. Doherty lets fly. Fly by Pretty. Carlton have got 4 on the board. It's exhilarating stuff. 4-1-25 to 1 behind. We have just ticked into time on in the opening term. Victoria Police made for more.
Do you get the feeling that somewhere back in Melbourne, there's a few boys in Collingwood watching this going, hang on, this isn't going to script. What are we watching here?
What are we watching here?
We're seeing a team that's got nothing to lose. They've come up here, Jared, and they're playing aggressive footy. Not only brutal at the contest, like we saw with Jack Martin's tackle, but they're going back at Brisbane with real aggression. Brisbane's defence just can't get set.
They're flustered with their ball movement. And I'm all in on that. Jacob Wiedering created that by filling up the viewfinder of Ryan Lester 45 metres down the line, and he tried to bite off the impossible pass on the wrong side.
Ball back in the middle. Pitnet takes a clean out of the ruck. Hand pass to Hewitt. The Blues come forward again. Charlie Curnow takes the contested mark.
Gardner's put in wonderful body work to this point in time. And we have a look at the chemist. In front of the Chemist Warehouse sign there, but we saw Charlie go up. He actually got bodied on the run-up to the spot, but then sprung off 2 feet like a basketball jump with no real contact at that point, and he just outreached his opponent, Darcy Gardner.
Carlton trying to pour it on. Curnow, that's it as well. This is shock and awe in Brisbane.
Centre bounce goal. Deep clearance. Curnow does the rest.
5 goals won, 31 Carlton to 1 behind in 22 stunning minutes.
There's goals, Kingy, which you kick, which is methodology and the way your team plays, and then there's talent goals. That's pure talent. Explosive leap from 2 feet planted on the ground, standing start, and just outreaches his opponent.
And Durham, we spoke about talent earlier, how it inspires your teammates. Carlton seeing that from Curnow then. Imagine how much taller they're walking right now. He's in the game.
The bounce of the ball, the Monopoly game at Macca's is back. You wouldn't dare have scripted this.
No.
High bounce in the middle. Danaher against Pitnet. Pitnet's just having a field day. Brought it to ground, trickled it forward. Bounced over the first contest. Jack Martin worked over, knocked it to Fogarty. Blues to full forwards. Up went Andrews, a one-hander. Audacious defending. He's the only one doing his thing, Harris Andrews. Out to Berry and on to Robertson. A mark of the day for Flight Centre.
Inside 50s, 8-14, thanks to safety steal shed. So it shows you which end of the ground this ball is living in.
Robertson long down the wing. Flying was Rayner. Probably spoiled his own man, Archie. Walsh too sharp at the hand pass for Wiedering. It's out of play. 5 minutes and 20 seconds remain in this opening term. 31 plays won in Carlton's favour. Thrown back into play. Danaher planted the shoulder, won a tap. Underneath, Akers had Doherty had a fumble. Danaher worked it forward. Out came Wiedering, smothered the bouncing ball. Trickled out toward the boundary and over. Berry was in pursuit but couldn't quite get there. So there's a few ghosts of preliminary finals past whirring around the Gabba at the moment. The Lions have failed in this moment a couple of times before. And they have given away quite the head starts. Danaher spikes it forward, cut off by Marchbank, threw it onto the boot. Runs at the boundary and away from Cripps and Walsh and over. Looks like a full stand at Princes Park back in Melbourne watching on. And they will love what they have seen so far. Michael Voss down on the bench. The Spitwater high-pressure cleaners, tools not toys, tough and ready.
That's a Shepherd.
Yes, it's a ruck free kick going the way of Danaher.
That's the wrong decision.
So Danaher kept Pitnet away from the drop of the ball, you felt, Dermot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Danaher from 60 launches for the heavens. He's dragged it near side. He carried the triple right.
That's a monster kick.
Yeah. That's what he can do. Anywhere within 60 to 70 metres, he's on from there, Joey.
29-point margin in the Blues' favour. Victoria Police made for more scoreboards. Saad has the kick in. He's sent it adjacent to the centre square. Up goes Mackay. Harry's had a great influence so far.
Second contested mark, big contested mark, out in that lead-up space where you need that sort of catch on the footy.
No one stands the mark, so he's able to crib a few metres, pulls the kick out wide. Charlie Kerner off the back of the pack, couldn't mark. Martin onto it, hand pass to Fogarty, had a fumble, paddled against the boundary, could never quite catch up with the Sherrin. It's over. That forward setup is just so threatening. Right forward pocket for the Blues. At the throw-in, De Koning worked his way to the front. He was trying to find Cripps. Good hand in there from Neil. McInerney, Polly Farmer-like hand pass 30 metres away, but it turns over. Akers to Boyd, back to full forward. Cripps flying high in the pack, knocked away by Andrews, out of play.
They're shell-shocked at the moment, Jared, Brisbane. You can just tell they've lost composure with the ball, and it's just creating repeat entries for Carlton.
They're flooding their backline too, which is, as you called it, Kingy, they're losing shape forward of the footy when they do win it and come forward.
De Koning brought it down underfoot and then laid the follow-up tackle to keep it trapped. And Dunkley wore all of that contact underneath. Up she goes again. De Koning moved McInerney, which is no mean feat. Danaher and Neil ran out of space right against the boundary, with Cripps barreling him over. 3:40 left in the opening term. Carlton by 29 points. At the throw-in, De Koning, creative tap looking to the back. Didn't quite have a teammate where he thought there might be one. Robertson tackled, ball it up. Carlton will not let the ball out.
Is there a bit of danger here? Like, Cottrell comes off the back of the pack here and is given a bit of room. Keep your wits, son, and it'll come to you.
De Koning taps it out near Doherty. Robertson took on the tackle and got the hand pass away. Neil sends it forward to the play. Brisbane free kick. They waved advantage and it didn't pay off at all. Akers pushes the other way. High to full forward. Andrews with the spoil and the crumb. He's under pressure. He got it away in the nick of time. Wilmot confronted by Cottrell. Hand pass to open space. Coleman arrives. Glides out toward the boundary. Kicks on the 45 precision. Out to Neil. Oh, the hand pass. They got a bit tangled up and McKenna let it land. The Blues have it as a result. Chincotta lost the handle on the footy. Banged it out boundary side. It runs end over end out of play. Throw in.
Quarter time can't come quick enough for them, Jared. They've just lost all composure. Even that kick from Coleman, you've got the whole ground to attack from. Just thinking they have to try and get this score back.
And all the right ideas, but McKenna didn't know it was coming and suddenly it was behind his ear. Had to throw in under the broadcast position. De Koning took it clean out of the ruck. Hand pass to nobody in particular. Dunkley rounded up by Hollands, given a while to get rid of it. Hand passed it away to Robertson. Beyond halfway for Brisbane. Marchbank made the spoil. Doherty had a little fumble underneath. It opened the way. Bailey too sharp for Neil, who had to go off the grounds. Still the Lions just can't create a chain or a passage of play. Marchbank squeezes the kick up the line. Robertson to Koning. De Koning wore a knee in the kidneys. Hollands gets it forward 3-on-3. Andrews takes possession. He's held up. Ball it up. De Koning, he peels himself up. That hurts.
Hip pointer or kidneys, somewhere around there. You'll go for this, though.
He arrives. McInerney had good position. He pulled it clear. Hand pass to Berry. Kick smothered by Cripps. Back into the jam. Berry feeds it forward, this time to Bailey, trying to run out of the stoppage. Worked it up to Rayner. Out in front of Robertson. Links it up to Berry. Flowing at the 50. Pulls the kick. Hipwood. That's the chain of play that has taken 29 minutes to materialise for the home team.
Exit out of stoppage there, though. Just they came out the front way, and you saw Zach Bailey, even though it was only about 6 steps, he thought, I've got pace to go front side of the pack. The pack. I'm not going to lay off. I'm going to use my pace, and it was all forward propulsion from there. Did not kick well, Eric Hipwood, in the warm-up set shots at goal. So this will be half nervy for him.
If ever Eric Hipwood needed a true boot, it is now. From 45, he's found it.
Good kick.
Needed it desperately, the Lions, before the bell of quarter time. They peg one back. 1-2-8 to Carlton, 5-1-31 on the Victoria Police Made for More scoreboard.
Well, that shows the threat there, Jared, from stoppage. As Dermy mentioned, just the ability to take the ball from the inside to outside with speed, with their hands and driving their legs. And that composure from Berry, then to lower his eyes and change the angles to hit up Hipwood. That's what it looks like. That's the formula for Brisbane if they want to get back in this game.
They don't feel much like singing for the moment, the Lions fans.
It's the way these ticket sales here have been divided up. It's as if what you would see at home is to the left-hand side, the terraces, and up top are Carlton. To the right-hand side of your dial is Brisbane, and they're still very sedate in the Brisbane areas.
Carlton by 23. McInerney took it out of the ruck, didn't do much with a hand pass. Walsh got it. Hand pass was tipped on the way through. Newman took a little bit of ground. Chera committed himself absolutely and got rounded up by a couple. Ball it up.
Just update that inside 50s now, 11-21 in favour of Carlton. Thanks, Safety Steel Sheds.
Spiked forward by McInerney. That's his long suits. Newman stood underneath, gathered the footy. Two-man tackle, a ball up. So DeConing and McInerney reconvene. They grapple with each other. DeConing deft out the side. Zorko tried to hack out of midair. Hewitt hand passes low down. Akers did well to keep it going to Walsh. Out the side now to Martin, who links it up with Marchbank. The Blues bring it past halfway. Cottrell's on the flowing lead. What does he like up ahead? He likes the lead of Charlie Curnow. Still at least 2 kicks away from goal. Up inside the 50. Mackay front position. Andrews made the spoil. Hand pass to Wilmot in defence. He's kicked it perilously close to the boundary. It hangs for a long time. Gardner puts his fist through it and knocks it out of play.
But even in your call there, Jared, you called Jack Martin clears from the back flank. That ball had been bounced in the centre and took like 20 seconds to get there, yet he's already making his way up into backfield to assist as an on-baller. So they're taking their turns to come up to the stoppage and rotate as the high half forwards.
DeConing tapped it down. Neil sharked it. Hand pass to McCluggage. Kick close to the boundary. It rolls over. Insufficient intent. Just a hack kick off the axis. So the call comes to play on. It'll likely be the last kick of the term, and it is. Carlton, just an inspired opening in this preliminary final. 23-point leaders at the first change, and a standing ovation from the faithful who have made the trip to see it. Mackay, Doherty, Martin, Curnow and Cottrell, the goal kickers for the Blues. Eric Hipwood has the lone major for the Lions.
Safety Steel Shed stats here. Have a look at this one, Kingy. Tackles inside forward 50. Brisbane 0. Carlton 6. Their heat in the forward half of the ground has been extreme.
There's a lot to analyse. We'll get Stephen King to do that in a moment. For local expert, a job well done. This is AFL Nation for Tyre Power. Big footy final sale. The Blues by 23.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Vic Police. Are you made for more? Search Police Careers.
New Toyota stock has arrived at Kilmore Toyota, located north of the city. With new vehicle stock being a challenge for some time, Kilmore Toyota has new model variants of Hilux and Land Cruiser now available, with ex-demo model Hilux available soon too. Drop in and ask the friendly new vehicle sales staff about the wide Toyota range available and experience the straight up and to the point team. Visit kilmoretoyota.com.au. LMCT 808. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
It's easy to spot the hard worker. It's those in high vis, building to the highest standards. The hospo workers, juggling 3 plates and 2 jobs. Our nurses who'll never clock off from caring. Tradies who can't work from home because they're busy working on yours. At Totally Workwear, we totally love your work. And we're here with all the trade, safety and uniform gear you need to keep on doing what you're so damn good at doing. Totally Workwear. Love your work.
Boring kitchen, tired laundry, bland bathroom. Fix the par with Subway tiles from $29.95 per square metre at Beaumont's. Loads of colours in stock and ready to go. Anything is possible with Subways from $29.95 from Beaumont Tiles.
What's tougher than tough? NHP's ISO range of plugs, sockets and switches. With over 400 options covering 10 to 50 amps in 3, 4 and 5 pin configurations, NHP's industrial strength options range of plugs, sockets and switches is diverse and excellent value. IP66 and UV stabilised as standard with chemical resistant versions available, you won't find a tougher range for your industrial, commercial and domestic applications. Hot or cold, indoor or outdoor, NHP's ISO range is tough. ISO Tough. Available at your local electrical wholesaler.
Your Flight Centre, Night Centre, See the Starry Light Centre, Cruise Centre, Tours Centre. Are you insured Centre? Stay young, have some fun, follow the sun, take the plunge. Easy done Centre. Island Top, over the top. One-stop shop, never stop. Your Centre, our Centre. Flight Centre, at the centre for 40 years. Flight Centre.
At Robot Building Supplies, ChatGPT doesn't get a look in. We ask our own robot.
Robot's got it.
Got Merbu decking and timber sleepers?
Robot's got it.
Steel framing and building supplies within 24 hours?
Robot's got it.
The original robot since 1946. Robot Building Supplies. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. We're robot, but we're human. robotbuildingSupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Tradies and service providers, are you looking to improve your cash flow and reduce your paperwork? Then sign up with Australia's fastest growing team of local experts. You'll improve your financial security and work flexibility. Enjoy no sign-up fees? Tick. Better cash flow? Tick. No paperwork? Tick. Exclusive leads? Tick. And finance options to get you on your way? Tick. Ready to join the service revolution? Become a local expert by visiting localexpert.com.au today. A job well done.
Bendix General CT brake pads are the everyday braking solution with stealth advanced technology for smoother, quieter, more comfortable driving. Blue titanium stripe technology eliminates the bedding in process, while noise-absorbing shims reduce vibration and noise. For improved stopping performance, low dust, low rotor wear and enhanced durability, ask for Bendix General CT brake pads at your next service. Bendix. Put your foot down with confidence.
Liberty Home Loans hit different. They're for the free thinkers, the go-getters and the creatives. So if you're a free thinker, you'll be right at home. Liberty, loans for free thinkers. Visit liberty.com.au.
That's how we want. Approved applicants only. Lending criteria apply.
You're listening to the finals on AFL Nation. For Tyre Power, Big Footy Finals sale now on. Macca's, I'm loving it moments. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back.
Hand passed it away to Cottrell. Open goal. He's on a bouncing run. He steadies and drives it through. The Blues get the opener. Wider still to Cripps. The kick inside 50 was softened for Doherty. Doherty lets fly. Fly by Pretty. Hand pass to Hewitt. The Blues come forward again. Charlie Curnow. Carlton trying to pour it on. Curnow. That's it as well. This is shock and awe in Brisbane. Carlton by 23 points. Our major partner is the TAC. Don't use your phone illegally while driving. TAC. Stephen King, what's caught the eye?
Well, so far, Jared, I think the centre bounce game, Carlton 5-1 up, which has handed them initial territory, and then from there, their pressure, Brisbane just couldn't handle it. Their lack of composure just forced repeat entries. So, yeah, Carlton were able to keep them in their front half the majority of the quarter and punish them.
Lost their ability to function with the ball in hand as they come forward. They made some really bad decisions. They were forced into some errors on top of that, so take nothing away from Carlton. They're brilliant. They were brilliant the way they pressured the Lions into error.
The McDelivery of the ball for Macca's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. How will the Lions respond? 23 points down, start of the second term. McInerney reaches in once and twice but never got the ball. Hand pass from Cripps. to Fogarty, kick to Charlie Curto, almost pulled in the one-hander. Starcevic is going to clear the area out the far side. If it rolls end over end, it's insufficient intense. It's a pretty straightforward one. Carlton's free kick.
Off the back of another centre bounce clearance, just setting up the game for them at the moment.
Unlike the first quarter, they've started with the three talls down there, Harry Mackay, De Koning and Curnow.
McGovern kicks it in the De Koning direction. What a rise. Harry Mackay's the crummer. He trickles it through for a behind. He skipped it across the turf rather than going the aerial route. He missed. 24-point leaders, the Blues, Athena home loans.
It was weird, wasn't it? Because if he got it online,
it was going to be touched.
Yeah, it was going to be gathered.
McKenna drives it in long. Lovely leap from Dunkley. Sweeping hand pass to Hipwood was optimistic in the extreme. Absolutely crunched by McGovern. Fogarty's hand pass was tipped away by McCluggage, but Hollins is there to gather. Hand pass to Marchbank. Carried and kicks it out on the full.
Lucky there, Brisbane. Won a critical contest and then just lacked a bit of composure to start them up again. Inviting pressure.
Lockie Neal with the restart. The kick goes long forward. Wiedering knocks it down to Newman. Swung in the tackle by Hipwood, holding the ball. A winning tackle for Toro, count on it. Hipwood, he kicked the ball into the man of the mark. Robertson caught, dropped the footy.
That's a great decision. He cradles the ball in one arm and he just starts thrashing about as if, I'm trying. He's not really trying. He's trying to absorb the tackle and go for a ball up. And the umpire's having none of it. Well umpired.
George Hewitt wins it right back for the Blues. Kicks long down the line. Andrews is up with the spoil win as he knocks. Dunkley underneath, dragged off his kick. Motlop, excellent pressure once and twice. Still it does come forward. Zorko squeezed to kick. McCarthy flew diagonally, couldn't take the mark. Sard brought down by Charlie Cameron, trying to get himself into the game. It's a ball up. McGovern drags Charlie out of there. Didn't like the treatment. Newman's involved as well. Tempers frayed and jumpers tend to go with it. The ruckman arrive. Lions inside 50. McInerney spikes it into open play forward. Hipwood worked over. Off the ground went McCarthy. Couldn't beat the pack in the square. Akers stood in the tackle. Hand passed it away to Boyd. Brings it out to Doherty. A steady head and a bouncing run. Slipped the hand pass to Newman, who repeats the dose. Lovely ball for Fogarty. Blues methodically bring it to halfway. Hand pass to Newman, who kept on running. Up the line, no. It didn't reach Mackay. Coleman saw it coming and intercepts.
Didn't get kicked to advantage, clearly, but that was very well worked in principle between Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow. They cantilevered as that ball was coming in. Just a kick, just missed the mark.
Backward to Gardner and again to Coleman. Left half back for the Lions. They're down by 24 points. Long down the line. Danaher tried. Marchbank did so well. Got himself into the front position. Got a bit of a push right into the drop zone. A nice mark for Flight Centre. Marchbank long down the line to the next marking pack. Gardner had good position. Knocked it down to the front and got a little bit of high contact as well.
Had hard hands then. He got two hands to it, but they were flat, hard hands that maybe not playing at this level for some time. He's just a little bit spooked at this point in time.
Third game of the season. He's been good in the air against Curnow from a spoiling perspective. Uses it to Dunkley and on now to McCluggage.
Having said that, Gardner's been a wonderful player for Brisbane. It's just a little long in the tooth now.
McCluggage was trying for Hipwood, who got pushed forward by McGovern.
Yeah, he tunnelled him.
Right on the spot with a side-on view to call it. There's 4 umpiring slots available next week. This crew have made a good start. They know they're not up against much competition. Up to Coleman, sweeping ball to McCluggage. Runs to the 50, checked his kick and placed it ever so well to McInerney.
Better build-up from Brisbane. More composed. Just short 45s. Eventually won the critical contest through a free kick, and that's the way they play. McCluggage often getting on the end to use the ball so well going inside 50.
Yeah, this is as good a kick as Big Oscar would have to make in his career, this type of kick. He'll kick from 30 to 35. Bit sharper than a 45-degree angle.
We are right behind the flight of the ball. The Lions looking to string a couple together. Oscar McInerney has it on target and sees it through. Slowly they creep. It has to be progressive when you fall 5 goals behind. They've pegged 2 of them back. 2-2-14 to Carlton, 5-2-32 on the Athena home loan scoreboard.
And I think that's right, Jared. Chris Fagan would have got the group in at quarter time. Obviously not the first quarter they would have wanted, but they can't just peg it back straight away. They just need to work their way into the game now, nullify a little bit of what Carlton were trying to do, but just get some momentum back in the game.
And you're spot on. But having said that, I don't think Chris Fagan would have said, Oscar, drift forward to about 15 out and get on the lead.
That's right.
And mark on the lead and turn around and slot the goal from an angle. So that's a bonus. That's a big win.
AFL Nation for Tyre Power Big Footy Finals sale. Pitnet against McInerney back in the middle of the Gabba. Pitnet knocks it out the side. Wilmot overran it out of half-back, but Zorko is there. Sharp hand pass to Coleman, who's got a good turn of foot. Kicks to full forward, Danaher.
What a kick from Kadeen Coleman.
Just the courage for Wilmot and Coleman off the back of that centre square to come in and be really proactive. That set the goal up for Brisbane, the shot at goal.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you see that moment, young Motlop, you have to chase Kadeen Coleman because he will kick the eyes out of it.
The test now for Joe Danaher. It's a test that Hipwood has met. It's a test that McInerney has met. And now for Smoke and Joe. 40 out directly in front. The kick's good. And the Lions are harnessing their momentum. 3 in a row. 3-2-20 to Carlton. 5-2-32. Athena home loan scoreboard. Fixed rate rolling off. Check out Athena home loans.
Well, that's their game, King, is it? Whether it's from stoppage or turnover or intercept, get the ball in that slight back half of the ground to Kadeen Coleman. Get on the move because he will put it on a platter.
Oh, he moves so well, Dermot, kicks the ball extraordinarily well. That was a well-weighted kick and very hard to stop, so he'll get a lot of confidence out of that play.
We're used to seeing him cruise at half cruise speed, but on that occasion, he had to go at express pace and still made the kick.
The Lions fans are right into it now. Their team is just 12 points adrift, and they can bang them on quickly. Pitnet wins the tap. Dunkley was impeded in the middle. Bailey sharp hands to Zorko. Kick inside 50. Wiedering saw Robertson trip over and takes the intercept mark unopposed. Wiedering uses the ball up the line. Half volley. Motlop couldn't pull it in off the boots of Coleman across the turf for a throw-in.
Here comes Doherty up to stoppage now.
He runs straight through the stoppage and goes to the defensive side, so he has all eyes forward.
Yeah. Play with such good ball use, that's where he wants to be.
Ruckman nullified each other at the back. Bailey had it stripped. Hollins out to Pitnet, couldn't quite handle it. Walsh is in the fray, couldn't get it.
Oh, wow.
Neil did. Oh, off to Wilmot, who hit the outside of the boot. It's out on the full.
How good was the Lockie Neal gather? One scoop hand, and then as the ball's been raised up, within a half a second, the other fist, the other arm strikes it in the handball.
Cripps kicks the Blues to half forward. Lovely mark by Jack Martin across the front. How does he want to use it? For a moment, Charlie Curnow was open. He goes deeper instead. It was never on. Lester had left Cottrell to take the intercept mark. If he had into the back pocket for Fletcher.
Had he rolled first off, Blake Acres had made it to the top of the goal square with a really good favourable opposition against him.
Fletcher off to Lester. There was just a hint that Motlop was over the mark, not whistled. Out to Gardner. All inside the defensive 50. Charlie Cameron receives a hand pass around the back and kicks to the wing. Motlop flew one-handed. McCarthy coughed it up underneath. Cincotta to Pitnet, then to Cincotta again, and now to Cripps. About to be run down. Got it to his boot. It fell in short. Hewitt was there. Low down hand pass. McGovern brought down by Zorko. Ball up in the middle of the ground.
So if we have a look at the Cripps v Dunkley battle, thanks to Safety Steel Sheds, Cripps 4 possessions, Dunkley 12.
Wow, spiked forward by McInerney. He took 30 metres this time. Overrunning the ball was McCarthy. Still might get it. Charlie Cameron's hand pass in his direction. No, it turned over. Boyd left his man. He backed himself and he did it well. Kicks to Akers at half-back.
Now it's time for Carlton just to take some sting and momentum out of this game if they can just possess the ball a little bit here.
It's going to be the long kick down the line. The four tools are all there, and Harris Andrews is having his way in those, but there's some holding on. It's a Harry Mackay free kick. Right half forward, McGovern wanted it laterally. Kick goes inside 50, too strong for Motlop. Poor moment. Straight turnover, Leicester out the far side to Zorko. Zorko plays it up to halfway. Fletcher was the target. Akers did so well. Got a fist in there and Boyd helped him out. Akers to Walsh. Back to Akers. Against the boundary, ran out of space. Mackay propelled himself at a hand pass. He's toppled in the tackle by Coleman. Ball it up. On the wing in front of the interchange gates. Carlton by 12. Fletcher's kick was smothered at the source. Hewitt did well. McInerney got brought down by Fogarty. A ball up 60 out from Carlton's goal. Tough in the clinches right now. Up she goes. McInerney pulled it in clean. Tumbles it down the line. It rolled end over end for a while. Newman's the first to arrive for the Blues. Steadied himself back to half forward. De Koning reached up. Coleman did just enough. Won by Hewitt against the boundary, but he's tackled by Fletcher. It's either a throw-in or a ball up if they clear the fights. They're entangled with each other. It's a throw-in.
It's a great contest from Coleman. Courageous against a taller opponent coming across the spoil.
McInerney and De Koning await the throw-in. They shared it down to the front. Dunkley with another hand pass, not really to advantage. Bailey tried to keep it going. Doherty had a mind the other way. Bailey has another go. He's dragged down, ball it up.
Safety still sheds the top possession winners on the ground. Blake Acres 13. Dunkley just crept up to 13, and Jared Berry and Walsh 11 apiece.
McInerney got it out of the ruck. He got dragged off it by De Koning. Chera slipped over as he tried to create the play. Walsh off the ground only as far as Coleman, who's a central figure. It didn't go 15. He holds it up for a ball up. Left half forward for the Blues. McInerney, perfect tap. Down to Bailey. Squeeze the kick near the middle of the grounds. Sard beat Charlie Cameron. Stone cold one-on-one. And the defender won it handsomely. Sard ran himself into a deviation as he was confronted by Zorko. Out the side to Newman. Has the kick to Sard, who kept on going out to the boundary. A little bit of control for the Blues. That's Sard's kick. You heard it on its way. Gardner over the top of Curnow. Underfoot it's to be won. Fletcher to Wilmot. Got it forward to the play to Zorko. Took territory. But Carlton are set. Wiedering is the first man back. Gathers. Calmly gives the hand pass to Newman. Then got it back. Is the switch on? Doherty has run. That's the first part of it. Boyd would be the outlet. Doherty, though, no, he pulls it back the far side. He needs Marchbank, and Marchbank rises to mark. It'll be 50 against Zorko. He knocked it out of his hand as he went to play on. No.
Have a look on there. He did too. That's so, 50. They got away with one.
It's either 50 or Zorko did the right thing and it's play on. It gets reset instead. Marchbank kicks to Koning. Flew. There's a Shepherd. Which way? A Carlton free kick. De Koning gets the advantage. He unloads to the teeth of goal. Off hands Archie up. Sees it through for a rush behind. I don't know. Would he have been better? De Koning just to go, no, let's just take our free kick to Harry Mackay where it was.
Yeah, well, that rush of blood, young player, but they've got three key forwards, inside forward 50. They get the kick from 55 and not one key forwards in the goal square.
Long kick-ins out on the full. Poor stuff from Wilmot. He's just trying to find his bearings in a preliminary final.
Now, Cripps comes down inside 50, so if they drop it short, no, they're not going to.
De Koning didn't quite get it where he wanted to. Off hands, it reaches the back. Gardner's the last line of defence. Hand pass to Wilmot. Turned his way out of a tight spot in the pocket and did well. Took the territory long down the line. Hipwoods. Terrific one-on-one mark against Marchbank. The Lions were trying to whisk it on, but a mark's a mark.
Yeah, you can't play on advantage.
Hipwood
from a mark.
Inboard to Coleman. Coleman's having to look across the centre square, rifles the kick to Archie, who can turn and go and pump it in long and long and long, and Charlie Cameron dropped the mark. Oh, it was in his lap. He couldn't hang on, and Boyd shovels it through for a rush behind. The margin is 12 in Carlton's favour for Athena Home Loans.
Kadeem Coleman, there are 9 players who've had more possessions than him on the ground. He might be the most effective one out there, definitely for the Brisbane Lions.
Absolutely, Derm. He's had a night so far. He's having quite the influence.
What a weapon that foot is.
Player of the day for Le Cabra, home of the GOAT Mexican Foods. Sard, you'll know, there it is, it's on its way, beyond 50 on the outer side of the ground. Starcevic made the spoil in the pack. Fletcher chases boundary side and gathers. He was cute with a kick inboard, and Walsh saw it coming.
Good thing about Brisbane, 50. Brisbane have actually dried up Carlton's ability to move the ball, but this is going to give them a break and get them inside forward 50.
Walsh charges 40, should have got a second 50. He was so clever, he ran at Bailey, who wouldn't get out of his way. Kick to full forward. Harry Mackay flew, dropped the mark, still ended up with a footy, held up by McInerney, ball it up. 25 out from the Carlton goal. De Koning pulled it down to the side of the pack. Fogarty couldn't quite get it from hand to foot before he was on his haunches. Ball it up. Motlop hands it back.
I thought that's the rule. If you don't get out of the way, it's another 50.
Because Walsh was just cleverer. Tap came the way of Cripps. He was manhandled, brutalised, hit high, free kick, shot at goal pending.
Have a look at the Carsales replay here. Goes to him. Oh, yeah. Yep. It's not his immediate opponent, Dunkley. Starcevic is second Johnny on the scene and just runs into him, hip to shoulder. Clumsy. Knocks him too high.
He is stung from that, Cripps, as well.
Yes. That's more than just a free kick.
It is. If Cripps ends up going off the ground, Starcevic's fate will be in the lap of the gods. I think he was already paying. That is a reportable offence.
But that also could mean a 15-minute on the sidelines for Cripps or more.
Patrick Cripps has cleared the head. It's a brutal night for him. His moment comes and he seizes it. The Carlton captain strikes. And it's a steadier for the Blues. They reassert an 18-point lead on the Athena Home Loans scoreboard. 6-3-39 Carlton to the Lions 3-3-21. Brisbane were threatening to run hot for Ream, Australia's favourite hot water. That'll just temper things a little.
Head-to-head matchup between Dunkley and Cripps, thanks to safety steel sheds. Dunkley's on 13 possessions, Cripps is on 6. But when you see things like the pat down in the first quarter, when you see things like standing over the footy, absorbing the heavy punishment and goaling after it, it's sort of getting back to line ball. They're almost on parity at the moment, the way they're going about it, even though there is that almost the doubling of the numbers. Because a lot of Dunkley's possessions, he's had 7 handballs.
Cripps and Neal side by side in the middle. The bounce slews to the side. Pitnet tapped it down near the contest. Neal ended up winning it. Doubled back through the traffic. Hand pass to Danaher. Kick up to full forward. Hipwood outnumbered. Marchbank brought it to ground in front. Rayner kept it goal side, and Archie popped it through.
Hang on.
We're going to check whether it's touched.
Blake Acres convincing. I don't think it's touched. I think he's saying it hit him in the head. And now, was it close range?
Yeah,
it wasn't close range.
Akers has got a good record here. Has been a pest. It's hit his fingertips in consecutive finals, and there's this one cannon into him as well. I reckon it ruffles his hair on the right side.
It does.
Off the hair is touched,
it does.
isn't it?
We'll have a look here. Yeah. Thanks to Carsales, everything you auto-note, it absolutely... You can see the reverberation in his head, and that shakes the hairdo.
Yeah. So is hair enough? Hair enough?
It shook his head, so you'd think the hair is...
It's been overturned. The soft call is a goal, and Blake Acres has done it again.
Put one into the back of the net for 1 point.
Oh, it's a good save too, isn't it? It would have been 18 down to 12, the instant reply. Now instead it's a 17-point margin, and McGovern goes as soon as he's allowed. He takes the territory on the far side. Martin, an ungainly leap. Didn't really stick the landing at all either. Robertson as a result for the Lions, but he turned it straight over to Chera. AFL Nation for Tyre Power Big Footy Finals sale. Chera kicks long down the line. The Lions fans are in unison, but they're completely wrong. McCluggage wins the ball on the wing. Hand pass to Zorko. Poor entry, cut off by Wiedering. Wiedering dabs the ball outside the defensive area for Newman. He was pretty keen to get that onto Newman, but he balked the hand pass at the last. 39 plays 22. 7 minutes remaining in the half on the Makita XGT Power Without Limits clock. Kick went down the line. No mark taken. They fight underneath. The ball up. Robertson and Cripps, the last two to rise.
Carlton still plus 10 for inside 50s, 29-19.
Pitnet out the side. Hewitt was well capped. Off to Doherty. Didn't get the kick he wanted. McKenna dropped an uncontested mark. Wrapped up by Akers. Umpire has a long look and decides it's a ball up.
That's not a drop, that's a fluff.
Yes.
That's a very poor drop.
The Blues approaching left half forward. Pitnet almost, but not quite. He had a few goes. He ended up paddling the ball out the back to Walsh. On to Doherty. Spiked it up inside 50. Akers brought down by Coleman. Leicester the other way. Hand pass to McCluggage. Brings the Lions out of halfback. Hand pass to Bailey, links it up with Danaher. McCluggage again. Forward to the play now to Robertson. Danaher's kept coming. Receives the hand pass, has to do a U-turn though. Zorko, right. Danaher again. Now Danaher is clear. Kicks inside 50, missed his target. Cottrell onto the falling ball. McKenna wins it right back to make amends for the drop mark. He does with the goal. McKenna blasts it through. And the Lions bring it within 2 goals now.
Seeing some real signs now of Brisbane's strengths coming to the fore, Jared. Starting to win the ball back and then take the game on. So, yes, they haven't connected every time, but seeing some more dash, some more run. Maybe they're starting to be a bit fresher now as this game goes on.
I just felt that Carlton then were a little brave with the ball in that sort of circumstance. They still tried to flick it around by hand, even though they knew the heat was right on them.
Team Player of the Day anthem workwear, Get Inspired. It was inspiring stuff from Connor McKenna, who will have known that he made that blue at the other end. It didn't cost him anything, and he goes forward and inflicts the damage. 4-4-28 Brisbane, 6-3-39 Carlton. Athena Home Loan scoreboard.
I think it was Zorko who put the tackle on Cottrell, which made the ball go into up for grabs.
Robertson's just nursing a left wrist injury. He's come from the ground for the moment. Rayner wins the hard clearance. Hand pass to Neal. Up to full forward. Danaher worked out of it by Wiedering. And Marchbank, as a result, took the mark. The local fans howling for a free kick. Kick well marked by Doherty. He wore the contact as he flew for the overhead mark. His shoulder's fine. Not a lot to work with, though. So it's long down the line. Mackay and de Koning, Carlton's best hopes. It clears the pack. Dunkley's chasing the loose ball. Hand passes it back to Coleman.
Keep him on his right.
Yes, yeah. They let him get to his left and he doesn't waste it. Up to Wilmot. Eyes darted inboard. Carlton have filled the corridor. So a retreat through McKenna. It missed him, but he's got plenty of time to go back and gather. Doesn't really have the switch he was looking for to the far side, so he had to pull the kick for Wilmot. He did it very deftly. And back to the near side for Zorko. The Lions are a promising chance in this build-up. Kick for Dunkley. Hand pass to Zorko, who kept on coming. Pumps it inside 50. McInerney! No, didn't quite hang on. McGovern wore the contact underneath. Lost the footy as a result. Neal is there to gather. He's desperate to get it off. He does. Leicester with the curling shot. Oh, the Lions are charging. They are charging now. Ryan Leicester with his first goal of the season. And the margin is back to 5 points. 5-4-34 Brisbane. Carlton 6-3-39, and there's still 4.5 to go in the second term.
A contained build-up to get the ball inside forward 50, but there's no other way to describe it. Good old-fashioned hard work. The tackle on Newman when he got to the ball, the reapplication of pressure on the next Blues recipient, and they keep the ball in the area.
That's right. And even Brisbane now playing with a bit more dare with ball in hand. Dunkley's quick little gift to Zorko just broke the line and got it in there quickly.
AFL Nation for Tyre Power, big footy final sale. It's a huge swing in the game. Carlton with 30-point leaders late in the opening term. And the Lions will fancy they have the momentum to hit the front before the main break. McInerney forward. Rayner's having an influence. Muscled it out in front of Robertson. Hand pass was poor. Hollands was under enormous pressure though. Kick didn't go far. Oh, Rayner absolutely monstered Chera. Ball spills near the wing. McKenna attacked hard. Kicks to the hot spot. Knocked away by Akers. Hollands underneath couldn't quite gather initially. Does it the second time of asking, and he spent it well to Sard. Got to find some calm. Got to find some possession as well. It's been long down the line for a while for the Blues. Harry Mackay reaches up into the contest, didn't mark. Neal threatens underneath. Hewitt tackled him. Ball jarred free and out of play.
After such a hot start, you just feel like Carlton actually need a settler here. It's 4-1 in this second quarter. And now, even though they're still in front, it's Carlton on the back foot.
Charlie Cameron's trying to get back into it down on the boundary for Spitwater. High pressure cleaners. Tools not tough. Tools not toys, tough and ready. Doherty at the stoppage. On the wing. Hand pass to Walsh. Ran into Rayner, who's a battering ram right now. Marchbank gathers. Needs the kick down the line. Squeaks it down in Mackay's direction. Andrews made the spoil. Attacking it hard was Walsh, and he got attacked just as hard by Berry. Got the hand pass away to Doherty, Hollands, and now Martin. Great touch from McCarthy. Knocked the steal down. Gathered himself. Pulls the kick to Danaher. McCarthy. The big steal in the middle.
Danaher had 10 metres on Wiedering, and that's because he took his eyes off him and he watched Joe run back to the pocket, and in the interim when he had his eyes off play, that's when the turnover came. That's the moment Joe led up on him. As soon as he tries to chase that lead, he realises he's missed that initial 2-3 steps, and he knows he's done.
30 out, directly in front. Joe to light the Gabba up. Brisbane are in front. What a salvage mission it's been. Before half-time, surging momentum, uplifting morale. 6-4-40, they're all over Carlton now. 6-3-39, 2:23 to go on the Makita XGT clock. Power without limits.
5-1 this quarter, King in, and also to show you where the ball's been living, 15-8 inside 50s, completely flipped on its head compared to the first quarter in terms of inside 50s and ground position.
I'll tell you what, Durham, Cameron Rayner, he's had such an influence the last 5 to 10 minutes here. Hard, composed, and just physical. Just everything you need to be in the prelim final.
Now it's the Blues who are waiting for the bell, and the bell is still a little way off. McInerney with the tap again. Rayner uncompromising. Dunkley hand pass forward. O'Neill got met full on. Here was a hospital ball sent in his direction. Zorko slapped it forward to the play. McCluggage is in the jam. 3 pitted against him. Chera the next to suffer the fate as he's tackled. Ball it up. Can the Lions pile more on? Walsh at the source. Hand pass to Martin. Clever tap out in front of Akers. His hand pass charged down by Coleman again. Out now to McCluggage. Kick inside the 50. Charlie Cameron got out the back. Paddled. Put a step on. Had a bounce. It didn't come back. He got worked over by Sard and McGovern. Hand pass to Doherty. Hewitt got out of a tight spot. Clears near the boundary, but up goes Dunkley. Dunkley squares it off, giving the angle to attack. Starcevic out to McKenna. This is not beyond his range at centre-half forward. McKenna Gives it the lot on the right boot. It's into the night sky. It's across the face. Tap back into the field of play, but then seen through for a rush behind. Brisbane by 2. And still the bell is a minute and 12 seconds away.
They're irresistible at the moment, the Lions. You mentioned Cam Rayner. He plays as if, what rule that if you hurt them, you can be outed? He's completely, he just doesn't care about that rule. He's just in, body and soul.
Start again, long to a contest. Starcevic made the spoil. McGovern did the work underneath. Welsh's hand pass, not much good. McCarthy, he's inserted himself. McKenna again, up to full forward. Charlie, he's got it this time. Charlie Cameron at the back of the pack.
We're up to 17-8 inside 50s. This is a bombardment of inside 50 ball.
Left of centre, being put on his right angle. Charlie Cameron's going to come around the corner and join the scoring spree. Oh, he wobbled it across the face.
He had so many teammates telling him, one was saying, line up straight, and then Zorko came in and said, no, go back off the line and go around the corner.
I think they're worried about the time, Dern, that he might get called to play on as he goes to the snap, but it's actually thrown out his whole routine.
They worried him out of it. That is a big escape for Carlton. The last 9 inside 50s have gone against, and all they've got is long on the way out. McGovern places it boundary side. Gardner ended up with the footy after it bounced out of the breadbasket of Charlie Curnow, but he was over the boundary.
The old terminology, the forwards of Carlton in the last 10 minutes have just gone cold. Yep. It just hasn't gone up there.
Rayner's behind the footy now too.
17 seconds to survive for the Blues to half-time. Picknett won the tap. Walsh off the ground straight into Akers, so it ricocheted the wrong way. Robertson out for the Lions, out to McCarthy, hand pass to McKenna, outside of the boot, one last marking contest. McGovern had it well read. He diffuses the bomb. And at half-time, the Lions fans turn to offer a standing ovation. At the first interval, it was the Blues fans in this, guys, when they had a 23-point lead. But after a 5-goal-to-1 second term, the Lions have the lead by 3 points. 6 goals, 6-42 to Carlton, 6-3-39 on the Athena Home Loans scoreboard. Dermot?
Well, Carlton turned up with full-on intent, banged 5 goals on the board in the first quarter. If not for Harris Andrews, it could have been 7 or 8. And in the second quarter, Kadeen Coleman off the back flank, and then later in the quarter, Cam Rayner goes into the middle and bullocks his way into the fray, pushes the ball forward, and then you have the surgical foot skills of Kadeen Coleman off the back flank. They're the most... They're pivotal players in that second quarter, which saw a... Gee, what do we have? How many did they kick that quarter?
5 goals to 1. Yep.
5 to 1.
5-4 to 1-2 in that term. It's a big coaching task now, isn't it?
Oh, you can imagine now Brisbane going in half-time after the disaster of the first quarter to not only wrestle momentum back, but now be psychologically ahead on the scoreboard. They'd be going in now going, OK, we're back in this. It's on our terms. It's at home. Let's finish the job.
The quarter-time message from Fagan must have been simple about just don't bomb it, just take a bit more control of the ball. Because at quarter-time, Brisbane came out to their positions and were in position for probably 90 seconds before Carlton left the huddle. So it would have been a simple explanation of what to do right, and it's a simple fix for them, and they're playing the way that they should.
Nothing like a bit of ferocity around the ball either. The Lions by 3 points over the Blues at half-time. The prize is a place in the grand final opposite Collingwood. This is Super Saturday thanks to IMAR. IMAR Tradie Insurance, Queensland's tradies mate, presents our Super Saturday coverage all day today. That's IMAR.
Another contender for Goal of the Game for Host Plus. Host Plus has been named Super Rating Super Fund of the Year for 2023. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Proprietary Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au.
Receives the hand pass, has to do a U-turn though. Zorko, Danaher again. Now Danaher is clear. Kicks inside 50, missed his target. Cottrell onto the falling ball. McKenna wins it right back to make amends for the drop mark. He does with a goal.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Athena Home Loans. Tackle your home loan at athena.com.au.
Did you know heat and movement are key for recovery from low back pain? Move with ease with Flex-Ease Heat Wraps, proudly supporting Arthritis Australia. Heat Wraps are recommended as a first-line treatment in the new Australian guidelines for back pain. It provides up to 12 hours of heat to relieve and promote faster recovery from low back pain. Flex-Ease provides funding to assist Arthritis Australia in improving the lives of Australians facing arthritis. Flex-Ease Heat Wraps start from $1.99 at Chemist Warehouse. Always follow the directions for use.
So you're looking for more. More than catching the same train, walking to the same office, seeing the same faces, sitting at the same desk, and doing the same old job. Victoria Police is made for people looking for a career with more challenges, more excitement, more purpose, and more possibilities. If you're made for more, search police careers today. Victoria Police. Made for more. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
The best advice I've been given is I think not to worry.
Quitters never win and winners never quit.
Just to be yourself. And that was probably my mum who told me that.
Take every opportunity that comes your way.
The best advice I have been given is to follow my heart.
When celebrating a loved one's life, don't leave it to just anyone to organise. Get the best advice from a family-owned company with over 85 years' experience. Get to know the team at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
G'day, it's Kane Corns here. All-day socks are designed for people like you and me. For those wanting a bit of extra comfort when they need it most. For the movers and shakers, the late-nighters and the 9-to-5ers. Or for when you just want to show the world who you are by what's on your feet. For all-day comfort, everyday quality and everyday style, it has to be All-Day Socks by Underworks. The number wonder down under for socks.
It's Tyre Power's Big Footy Final Sale. Get the power to score a great deal on selected Toyo tyres and go in the draw to win one of 20 trips for two to Vegas. This sensational trip includes return flights, accommodation and $2,000 spending money. Talk to the team at Tyre Power about Toyo tyres and get the power of a safer drive this September, plus the chance to win a trip to Vegas. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
Pulling away from the dealership is just the start with Hyundai. Imagine convenience and transparency with online service booking and upfront pricing. Imagine 12 months of our premium roadside support plan every time you complete a scheduled service with us. Imagine driving unlimited kilometres and still being under warranty 5 years later. Imagine having a lifetime of care with Hyundai iCare. T's and C's apply. Elements of iCare are limited in duration. Visit hyundai.com.au/iCare. Imagine that. Hyundai.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Boring kitchen, tired laundry, bland bathroom. Fix the blah with Subway tiles from $29.95 per square metre at Beaumont's. Loads of colours in stock and ready to go. Anything is possible with Subways from $29.95 from Beaumont Tiles.
Real people, real products, real fun. No matter who you are, Sexyland has something real sexy for everyone. With Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, lingerie, couples toys and fun gifts and games for adults. Sexyland. 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong, open till midnight 7 days a week. Or shop online for 2-hour delivery. Sexyland.com.au.
You're listening to the finals on AFL Nation. For Tyre Power, Big Footy Finals Sale now on. Macca's, I'm loving it moments. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back.
Runs to the 50, checked his kick and placed it ever so well to McInerney. The Lions looking to string a couple together. Oscar McInerney has it on target and sees it through. Neil is there to gather. He's desperate to get it off. He does. Leicester with the curling shot. Oh, the Lions are charging. They are charging now. Great touch from McCarthy. Knocked the steal down. Gathered himself. Pulls the kick to Danaher. 30 out, directly in front. Joe to light the Gabba up. Brisbane are in front. What a salvage mission it's been. I'm loving it moments for Maccas. The Monopoly game at Maccas is back. The halftime score, the Lions 6-6-42 to Carlton 6-3-39. The Blues kicked the first 5 goals of the match, but the Lions have kicked 6 of the next 7. It's the halftime floor show for Choices Flooring, thanks to Choices Flooring.
The Choices Flooring Halftime Floor Show. Design, visualise and create your perfect floor with Room View.
Stephen King, what changed in that second quarter?
Well, I think just Brisbane started to get the game on their terms, Jared, and it started with centre bounce. So they were 1-5 down in the first quarter, then flipped it on its head and went 5-1 in that second quarter. And from there, the territory game just flowed. They evened up the inside 50 count, 31-30. And, I just think they showed more composure with the footy. And it was really noticeable for me was their ability to keep coming forward and then put the pressure on Carlton. So Carlton ended up lacking real composure with the ball, and the ball just lived in that front half for Brisbane.
He called it a centre bounce ground at the start. It's been every inch of that.
Yeah, every time you get a clean one out of there, as we saw, it just puts heaps of so much pressure on the opposition. And with Brisbane's weapons and arsenal they've got forward of the ball, if that keeps happening for the rest of the game, it's not going to end well for Carlton.
Dermot, what are you tracking stats-wise for safety steel sheds designed to save, built to last?
So it's going on. It's reverse situations. We talked about the first quarter in the inside 50s. It completely flipped around. So it was 11-22 in the first quarter. It then flipped around 19-8 in the second quarter in favour of the Lions. And you mentioned the centre bounce clearance ground. So Carlton got 5-1 out of the centre bounce, and I know they weren't all centre bounce goals, but it does give you ground position. Second quarter, Brisbane 5-1 dominance out of the centre bounce. So perfect alliance in the flip numbers between the two quarters. So, and then contested possessions thereafter. Brisbane for the match +6. Marks inside 50 though, even with the domination in the first quarter by the Blues. Marks inside 50, Brisbane 5, Carlton 2. So for all that good heavy work we saw the Blue forwards do in the first quarter, Harry took those 2 contested marks outside 50. Charlie took one of those 2 inside 50, which was a wonderful moment. It's Brisbane who look like hold the cards here at this point in time.
Who's in the contention for player of the day so far for La Cabra Modern Mexican?
Kadeem Coleman. There are other players who we're going to say he's got more possessions, he's had more contested possessions, but some of the work of Kadeem Coleman coming out of the back line has been extreme. I mean, there'd be forwards all over the league who just keep watching footy. They're not playing anymore this year, and they'd look at that and go, why can't we have a bloke kick it like that? That's just, some of his foot skills, you got to see them to believe them.
Toro tackle of the day. Toro count on it. Jack Martin?
Yeah, well, Jack Martin was fantastic, but really, let's go for the flip in the game, because the later one is Cam Rayner brutalised that tackle in this almost the same spot, half forward line for his team at that end of the ground, different quarter. I forget the Carlton player, but he brutalised him. And that's what I'm saying during the call. Cam Rayner, all this, you've got to temper your body blows against the opposition now, because you could find yourself with a weak suspension or so. Yep. It's as if Cam Rayner has not heard that memo. It hasn't reached him. He punishes people as soon as he gets the opportunity.
Unmissable moment for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. I still think the first goal of the game, when Matty Cottrell got onto a ball, his legs were going so fast that he nearly tripped himself up. No, in the moment of the excitement.
Well, a lot of the times we up here, we get led in by somebody. Have a look at my notes. Cottrell, first goal on exactly. It was so exciting to see him. It was almost like you get muscular inhibition, and he almost failed to get to the goal square and kick it.
Have you got a coaching move that we've seen that you like, Stephen, for Henley Holmes, Bonnybrook land from 350k, come build a Henley home?
Oh, look, I just think Josh Dunkley's game so far on Cripps, although he won that high free kick and kicked the goal. I think Dunkley's been everywhere. He's not as damaging, but his bullocking work and his desperation inside, I think that's going on Brisbane's favour at the moment. But as we know, the longer this game goes, there will be more stoppages, and that's where Cripps will come to the fore. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens there for the rest of the game.
Team player of the day for Anthem Workwear. Build your greatest achievements. Visit anthemworkwear.com.au.
A lot of reliance on him, and he has not let them down, even when they were getting blown away, even when they were falling behind in the first quarter. Big Oscar McInerney kept working tirelessly, and he's had to put up with Pitt and Ed coming in, bashing body into him, and then he has to put up with DeConing jumping into him, and he just keeps smacking the ball forward, absorbing anything they can throw at him.
Mark of the day for Flight Centre, your real deal centre.
I just thought the explosive 2-foot jump by Charlie Curnow in the forward pocket when the ball came in, he was flat-footed, and it was just pure talent.
And there's a few rookies out there for MEGT. Let MEGT help you find the best workforce talent. So on one side of the page, we've got Jasper Fletcher, and on the other, we've got Jordan Boyd and Alex Chincotta.
I've liked Fletcher. I mean, he's got the half a dozen, but he's actually run the lines pretty well. I've also liked Ollie Hollins. I think he's worked pretty hard as well. No, the great thing about this, all the all the rookies that are out there, none of them have looked uncomfortable.
MEGT need apprentices. Talk to MEGT. It is the Lions by 3 points. Our major partner is the TAC. Don't use your phone illegally while driving. TAC. That was the halftime floor show thanks to Choices Flooring. Discover the allure of wool and timber flooring. Second half to come at the Gabba. This is Super Saturday thanks to IMAR. IMAR Tradie Insurance, Queensland's tradies mate, presents our Super Saturday coverage all day today. That's IMAR.
You're listening to the finals on AFL Nation. For Tyre Power, Big Footy Finals sale now on.
Real people, real products, real fun. No matter who you are, Sexyland has something real sexy for everyone. With Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, lingerie, couples toys and fun gifts and games for adults. Sexyland. 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong, open till midnight 7 days a week. Or shop online for 2-hour delivery. Sexyland.com.au.
Are you looking for a big data mobile plan that comes with great value? Look no further than Mate. Because right now, Mate has introduced their all-new Big Data mobile plans. You'll enjoy big data with 5G on selected plans, no lock-in contracts, all on Australia's trusted network. And guess what? Prices start at just $25 per month. Make the switch today at letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online.
You wouldn't operate a chainsaw blindfolded. You wouldn't ride your dirt bike blindfolded. And you wouldn't walk on your roof blindfolded. Yet too many people dig without searching before you dig online first. Because if you don't search first, you're digging blind. Avoid high-pressure gas mains and high-voltage electricity cables every time. Search before you dig online every time. And never dig blind.
A big game tonight. 80,000 in the house. Crowd excited. Siren goes. The umpire holds the ball aloft. Hold on. What's he holding? Is that a yellow boot? You can't bounce that. He's grabbed a yellow footy boot instead of a ball.
If only that umpire had phoned New Vision Clinics. Having performed over 30,000 procedures, Dr. Noel Alpins helps people see clearly and give the boot to glasses. To find out more or to book an obligation-free consultation, call 1-800-20-2020. That's 1-800-20-2020.
Here's another powerful reason to choose Tyre Power. If you're into getting off-road, get into Tyre Power. We're the four-wheel drive tyre, wheel and suspension experts, which means you get the power of a great range of four-wheel drive tyre brands to suit any vehicle and any terrain. Plus, the expert advice to make your next four-wheel drive adventure a safe one. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
Tradies and service providers, listen up. Improving your cash flow and reducing your paperwork is just minutes away. Visit localexpert.com.au, become a local expert, and they'll connect you with customers requiring your services. There are no sign-up fees and you only pay for leads that actually turn into a job. Improve your financial security and work flexibility by joining the service revolution. Become a local expert today by visiting localexpert.com.au. A job well done.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Liberty Business Loans hit different. They're for the free thinkers and game changers. So access smarter credit when you need it most. Liberty, loans for free thinkers. Visit liberty.com.au.
Approved applicants only. Lending criteria apply.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. Kick the biggest goal of all time during the National Tiles footy final spend and save. Yes, kick the biggest goal of all time during the National Tiles footy final spend and save. Spend 1,000 and we'll only charge you $750. Or spend 2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. Only at the National Tiles massive footy final spend and save. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
You're listening to the finals on AFL Nation. For Tyre Power, Big Footy Finals sale now on.
Big second half set for the Gabba. The Brisbane Lions 6-6-42 lead Carlton 6-3-39. Stephen King, you just went to the coaching challenge there. As if you'd said that Carlton coming in, you can be 3 points behind at half time, that is where can we sign?
Absolutely, Jared. So right now you'd sign up for that. You'd take it in a heartbeat up here in Brisbane. But the way it's played out, it probably feels like they're down by 3 or 4 goals after that amazing first quarter. So I'm sure Vossi would have tried to reset them, clear their minds a bit, try and sell that message of hope. Boys, we're in the game. We've just got to leave that behind us now and let's have a repeat of the first quarter.
Is that how it sounds? You know, is that how you would make it?
I think so. You have to address whatever's hurting you, and I think, as we've discussed, Coleman and some of their halfbacks have been really damaging. They'd be in the coaches in the rooms there as coaching group saying, do we go not send a number up, play 6 forwards and make it a bit more of a contest because we're good at that game? But yeah, certainly got to sell the hope of message now. Boys, we're in this game of footy. Let's look forward, not behind.
So even when they were sending up that player in the first quarter, they left the spare in defence, the Lions, as McKenna.
Yes.
He didn't affect them, though. In the second quarter, he did, along with Coleman.
Right. The McDelivery of the ball for Maccas. The Monopoly game at Maccas is back. A place in the grand final up for grabs. Can the Blues balance up after that second quarter onslaught? Lions by 3. Good bounce to start. They go at it a couple of times. A free kick being paid. It was Brisbane's way and Cripps kicked it away. It's a 50-metre penalty. So Oscar McInerney is going to be taken 30 metres out from goal. It's a big gamble from Cripps. You have to hold your powder. You simply don't know which way the free kick is being paid.
We'll have a look at it here for car sales. Yeah, see, he's at the front side. The umpire, Finlay, who didn't see it because there's a grip from Oscar on the lapel of Pitternet. And Cripps has seen that and probably thought, I'm good to go here.
Oscar McInerney in the channel for the perfect start for the Lions. That rubs some salt into the Blues. They capitalise on the skipper's error. And Brisbane have kicked 4 in a row in the game to lead it by 9 points. It's a Bendix Breaks big moment. Put your foot down with confidence, Bendix Breaks.
He's a competitor, isn't he?
He is. And he'd be a great teammate to play with, Big Oscar. He gives his heart and soul every game, every contest, and that's a nice bonus goal, that one. What a start for Brisbane.
Absolutely. So, yeah, there's no doubt that Pitternet grabbed him, and that was in response to the fact that, as I said, one arm by McInerney's tapping the ball, the other is clawing onto the lapel and stretched the jumper, as what we could see. But Finlay, umpire Finlay? Yeah, he paid it from the other side.
I wonder what that does to morale for the Blues. Bounce right back in the middle. Pitnet split at that time. McInerney lays the tackle. Pitnet got it to his boot. So too did Walsh. It rolled through the legs of Fogarty. Shoveled on by Charlie Curnow. Out near Doherty. Motlop got in his way. He took it, but Wilmot had him. And Wilmot stole the footy. Rises and kicks to the wing. A ball that runs end over end. Akers will reach it first. He gets himself around the ball to gather with the goals in front of him. Took the tackle. Got taken to ground. Given time to get rid of it. Chera's hand pass, not much chop out the side, so it's back into the furnace. Chera got it out the back to Newman. Shocking kick. Straight to Coleman.
Surprised the tackle on Akers wasn't holding the ball. He did a full 360 and touched the ball to the ground on the tackle.
Coleman's kick was equally poor. Straight to Walsh. Walsh sends the Blues up towards the 50. Charlie Curnow pushed fair and square in the back by Gardner. The umpire saw it.
So that's the risk. The Gardner wants to play body against him, take away the run, and he fears that explosive jump. And that's a dangerous action, actually. So Charlie's in the action of jumping, and he pushes him through and under the contest where the ball's going, and through the marking area.
This is a tough shot, but it is not negotiable. It's from near the juncture of 50 and the boundary out to the right. Charlie Curnow skips in and kicks it out on the full. So think about what Carlton have just absorbed. The captain gives away a 50-metre penalty, and the Coleman medalist kicks the ball out on the full. The sum total of it is they're 9 points down on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard. Coleman takes the territory at the restart. Danaher presented, brought it to ground. Neat little touch to McCluggage. Out in front of Bailey. The Lions are attacking. Hipwood's out the back. Marchbank trying to close him down. Hipwood turns. Hand pass for Charlie Cameron. Wheels around and goes. Strike up the band. The Lions are on a tear. And the crowd is now fully engaged. 15-point leaders, 8-6 to 6-3.
And Jared, that's what makes Brisbane such a dangerous forward line. When one of your key forwards, Eric Hipwood, has so much leg speed and to work into that space, along with Charlie Cameron, it's impossible to defend. So,
once again, though, the first goal of this match for Brisbane was kicked because Zach Bailey's express pace away from stoppage. Where it started out there outside the centre square proper wing was Bailey's pace to get away. He only carries the ball for 7 or 8 metres, but it means it's all downhill running after he gets it.
It's with the crowd right now. The Lions by 15. It's a sweet tune in Brisbane. Danaher got it down. Won by Neal. Kicks up to Hipwood. And the song only stops to cheer the key forward.
There was always going to be, even when the Blues banged on 5 in the first quarter, there was always going to be a period where the Lions, with their ability to score quickly, were going to just pile on a few real quick ones.
Hipwood is kicking for his seconds. He crosses the 50. Left foot drop punts. Now he's dragged that to the near side. 16-point margin in the home team's favour. Robot Building Supply scoreboard. Robot's got it. You don't want to let a wounded foe out of the corner. And the Blues are wounded right now. McGovern plays the far side. Takes the territory adjacent to the centre square. Cripps, contested mark in front of the pack. Off to Chera, then to Newman. Oh, they've picked out Coleman. It's like it's magnetic. And Coleman across half-back has Archie. Neal is running to the wing. What's he got inboard? Or will he stay on the outer? He stays on the outer. Cameron's his man. Couple of steps clear of Sard. Danaher's the deep target. McInerney's gone down there to lend aerial assistance. Cameron kicks it in that direction. Rayner loves to fly. 2 bites out the side. McCluggage mishandled. Rayner goes and wins it back. Bullock his way clear.
Get in.
Too severe on the snap. Just across the face of goal. He's a brute.
That was De Goey-like from last night. He just powered his way. He picked it up off the deck, so the opposition had got a real good sighter on him and get real good purchase, hands on hips. He just spins a 360 and they shake off. What a brute.
This is going to take some real mental maturity and resilience here from Carlton to stay in the game here.
And all they've got is this long kick on the way out. McGovern goes for Harry Mackay. Front position, takes the contested mark in front of Andrews. Inboard Newman was asking for it. Mackay kicks long to the next contest. Charlie Curnow presents. Spoil was made against him. Underneath, Coleman wins another contested ball. Lions beyond halfway with a kick. Newman got in front of Zorko to spoil out of play. There's no method to Carlton anymore.
No, they're kicking it forward, hoping that talent will win it.
Boundary throw in for Spitwater, tough and ready. Cripps offloaded by Dunkley in front of it. McInerney spikes it forwards. Took 25 metres back to the boundary for the next throw in.
So, Kadeem Coleman's so dangerous by foot. He's actually choosing the opposition he wants to play on, and it's always that one who will take him up to the middle of the ground because it puts him into a dangerous area should he get the footy.
Pitnet dropped it out of the ruck. A throw in that favoured his drop zone. Sharp hand pass Chera to Akers down the wing. Coleman made the spoil. Cripps is first there underneath, but he knocked it up to Coleman, who found the way through, and he steers the pass to the chest of Hipwood.
Doesn't miss.
Who turns, he's got the open target in Charlie Cameron. He takes the mark in the right forward pocket.
So Kadeem Coleman again, this time that was a contest win, contested possession, and then broke a tackle himself. And he, 3 or 4 steps, no real hard pressure on him. He doesn't miss those kicks.
Charlie Cameron will come around the corner for his second goal. It's on its way. It's low down. It's no good. It didn't even make the distance. That's bizarre. He kicked it from 30 metres out and didn't make the distance. Sard off the behind line.
That's why the old school of us love drop punts.
Yes. Sard clears
get
the area. Marking Pack again. Motlop underfoot. Sharp hand pass to Doherty and got it back. Motlop has a look to the far side. It's expansive, but Berry saw it coming. Knocked it away from Akers there after the ground ball. Berry got it. Akers got him. Crashing in Robertson into Akers. That would have tested the AC joint. McGovern to march back out of defence for the Blues. Martin front position. McKenna jarred it free. Newman fights for it underneath. Kick didn't go far. Starcevich pushes back the other way. Lions inside 50 again. Danaher launched, couldn't mark. Sard once, twice to get it out of play. He did. Throw it in. Bit of a skirmish in the aftermath as Sard drags down Cameron. Boundary throw in a dangerous position. Lions have it forward. Charlie Cameron towed it to his own advantage. Gathered, gave it to McCluggage, who hangs it out to the right. The Lions can do this. They can squander some good opportunities around goal. They're 18-point leaders on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard. It could easily be more.
You just feel like the next goal, Jared's crucial here. That could actually break Carlton's hearts if they nail one. But Brisbane just keeping them in the game at the moment.
Wiedering's turn this time. Long ball down the wing. They're queuing up the Lions. Leicester, as in the schoolyard, takes the mark. Blasts it back inside. It clears the initial pack. Rayner threatens, topples over. It's out of play.
Well, they are lining up because every kick out of Carlton's defence is predictable.
Yeah.
It's got hang time and it goes straight down the line.
Left forward pocket. Lions attacking. Dangerous again from the stoppage. McInerney swiped at goal side. Hollins was camped there for the Blues, and he'll find Harry Mackay on the way out. They need a bit of kick mark or some run. It's just a kick down the line again. Charlie Curnow flew over the top. Mark landed, played on. kicks it. Cottrell trying to get out the back of Archie. He will. Archie toppled over. Cottrell gathers, curls it too high. What's it doing? It didn't make the distance. Hipwood thumped it through from behind. It changed direction 3 times in flight.
You're having a look at the car sales replay then. A true forward knows his presence then and knows that he has time to turn to goal and run it in. Cottrell took the big U-turn and went for the one across the body.
Berry marked the short kick in, goes long down the line. It's off hands and out of play.
So you're happy with what Cottrell's provided in the back half of this season. He's been fantastic, but that's the difference between a natural forward and an athlete.
Still looking at a replay of Charlie Curnow as Dunkley came across his boot to smother. He upended him, and Curnow landed very heavily on the left shoulder and near the head. Ball is out on the wing after the throw-in. Hollins is fighting desperately for it. He turns tackler after losing it initially, and it's a ball up.
So we have Doherty coming up to the edge of the stoppage, which is giving Brisbane Coleman in time and space. It's a real danger there.
From the stoppage, Coleman spikes it forward, a ball that reached his defensive positioning, and McCarthy pounced on it, hand passed out in front of himself. He nearly got there to gather as well. Hewitt, though, the other way. Shared it with McGovern, got it back, then to Chincotta. Kicks down the line, close to the boundary, over on the bounce. How will they see that as a throw-in? Absolutely under siege, the Blues. McCarthy's limping in the aftermath of the previous contest. 13 minutes into the third term. Brisbane by 17, Robot Building Supplies scoreboards. De Koning took it out of the ruck, dragged down by Danaher. He disappeared underfoot. And will need to be balled up.
You can see Doherty now trying to entice Coleman by going up late, but there's just too much pressure from Brisbane to actually use Doherty effectively here.
Cripps coming through the stoppage, knocked it near Doherty, who's in the tackle. He got his kick, but didn't go far. Cut off by Berry, confronted by Cripps, had to get rid of it in a hurry. McKenna against the flow, worked it up the wing. Zorko onto it. Hand pass to Coleman, brings the Lions up to half forward. Rayner goes back with the flight, knocked out of his hand at the last. Newman gathers underneath to McGovern, not a great hand pass. Bailey stripped of the ball, McCarthy hand passed it back in front of him. Bailey broke 2 tackles, retreats to McCarthy, kick charge down by Hollins. But Hollins kamikaze stuff with the ball outnumbered. McKenna onto it. Tackled without it. Free kick. Bailey might have got whacked just as the side of that. Potentially by Cripps on the flyby. It's a Brisbane ball in the hands of McKenna. Has a look into the forward pocket. Akers filled the hole, dropped the mark. Blues have good numbers around it. McGovern hacks it clear. Straight back. Gardner stands in front and marks. It's the Lions who switch through Andrews. Out the near side to Lester. He's got the target. Wilmot will use it up in front of Archie. They came all the way across the field. Archie is 60 metres from goal. He plays the perimeter for Wilmot.
Jared, I just think the time now is to play 6 forwards if you're Carlton. You just have to get it out of your back half.
Wilmot wheels out onto the right boot, sets it up to full forward. Carlton got all the numbers in the area. Marchbank punches it across the boundary rather than through for a behind. We have crossed the halfway mark of this third term on the clock for Makita XGT Power Without Limits.
Yeah, the Blues have kicked 1 goal since quarter time. It's savagely dried up for them.
Danaher planted himself in front, protected the drop zone at the back. McCarthy didn't quite handle it, sticks the tackle to put it back into dispute. Cameron wears the tackle of Cripps. Newman comes sprawling out the side of that. It'll be balled up.
A poke in the eye.
Deep forward for the Blues. Newman's out of commission here. De Koning with the initial tap. Danaher squeezed it onto his boot. It trickles up into the pocket. Rayner kept it going, but Walsh retrieves. Akers took him on, brushed his way clear. Got it beyond the defensive 50. It's a haphazard ball, though. Fogarty did okay to knock it on, but the Lions have got numbers at it. Starcevic was bulldozing his way through. Cripps the other way, paddled it to advantage. Motlop worked over by Starcevic. McKenna kicked it straight into Leicester. It's back in the jam. Andrews' hand pass turned over. Walsh kicks to an open forward setup. Gardner got a critical hand in there. He controlled the footy, laid it off. Robertson had to wait a long time. Cincotta arrived, but Robertson hauled it in.
Newman looks in a bit of trouble too behind the ball here with that poke in the eye.
He's going to need a good corner man. Slit me, Mick.
Cut me, Mickey.
To get the right eye to open. That looks in a bad way for Spitwater, tough and ready. The Lions work it to and fro as they kick it around in defence. Archie out the near side to Wilmot. Wilmot hasn't taken a step just yet, so he's got plenty of latitude. Now he's called to play on. Hugs the boundary. McCluggage, good running across the field. Kicks on the 45 to open the play up to Bailey. And the field has opened. He goes deep forward. De Koning gets back. Hipwood. De Koning did ever so well. That is the mark of the day for Flight Centre. His kick just finds Wiedering a fingertip.
So from here, Jacob all night, or Carlton all night, just keep coming straight down the line. They chip it sideways this time. But from here, relatively same position. This is very predictable. Harris Andrews comes across.
On to Marchbank now, long down the line. Martin's their only hope. He got to the front but couldn't mark. Charlie Curnow in the jam. Hand passed it away to Walsh. Up to Doherty. Kicks to a vacant forward 50, so the race is on. McKenna. He was herring back and he got there to take the intercept mark.
Doherty that's poor use, that's a panic kick.
Out to Wilmot, up to McCluggage, attacking kick for Danaher. Sharp hand pass missed Rayner. Cincotta's hand pass missed his target. Rayner coming through yet again. He hauled it in, he got caught. It spilt out momentarily. De Koning to Cripps. Hand passed it off to Cincotta. It fell in short and it worked.
He'll go and goal.
Charlie Curnow from centre half forward. He goes deep and long but not straight. He's pulled it across the face and through for a behind.
That's the way he plays. He swings and he rolls from 60 out. And if the goal square's open, he actually half kicks it but gets them quite frequently and bounces it on the line.
Down by 16 points, the Blues. Charlie Curnow's kicked 1-1. Berry marks the kick in, brought it in long. McGovern with the forward half turnover. So the Blues have got to get something out of all of this. Kicks to the hot spot. Akers had to go the spoil. Charlie Curnow underneath. He's in the tackles around and around. He released it to the side. Starcevic under pressure. Hand passed it to Wilmot, who knocked it down to McInerney, who paddled it out the side. Berry took the contact and dribbled the ball to the boundary. Robot Building Supplies scoreboard 8-9 to 6-5. Brisbane by 16 points.
Need some reward here, Jared. Forward 50 stoppage. Something's got to happen here for Carlton.
At the throw in, De Koning tapped it down Nick. Cripps hand passed it away to Walsh. Sent it up to full forward. Harry Mackay came out. Spoil made by Andrews. McKenna got a kick away underneath. Great fly, boys. Attacked hard. He's outside the 50.
Can kick a footy. He's got a thumping kick on him. This is not beyond him.
Jordan Boyd, the last man in for this preliminary final. He has not kicked a goal in his league career. Now would be a good time. Boyd gives it the lot from 56. He made good contact. He came up a yard short. And Harris Andrews, as ever, is there to knock it through for the conceded score.
See, Tom De Koning led from the goal square then. Quick kick in.
Attacking ball to Starcevic.
De Koning shouldn't be leading up like that. He's the tallest man in the goal square for Carlton. He's got to be there to help assist with the shepherd.
Starcevic out the side to Leicester and on now to Fletcher. The Lions lead is 15 points. Carlton are having a stirring patch. They can't get it on the board though. Kick up to halfway. Hipwood tipped it on. Marchbank dragged over the boundary by Robertson.
They are playing tempo footy now, Brisbane, aren't they? They're not exerting themselves, and Carlton are having to go at full throttle to attempt to get a score. Whereas the Lions, you see them, they're sharing the ball around by foot. They're going to have plenty in the tank when the last quarter starts.
From the boundary throw in, Hewitt underneath. Hand pass was smothered by Neal. Dribble kick goes from McInerney out in front of McCluggage. Right half forward throw in.
Definitely do, and that suits them this part of the game. And I think the longer Carlton keep playing Doherty up at round stoppage, the more Brisbane then can not only defend with one, but get to use the footy with a +1 as well and just maintain that tempo.
Newman is only seen out of one eye, but he's desperate to try to get back for Spitwater. Tough and ready down on the bench, going through some drills. De Koning's tap went down near Cripps. He just got overwhelmed by the numbers. Neal tackled to ground. Ball it up.
So they are playing high, but Wilmot follows Doherty up this time. And they are even ahead of the footy now. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
McInerney the tap. Walsh back the other way. Bailey, though, wins the ball. Kicks it up to full forward. It's going to clear the initial pack. Wiedering. Brilliant.
He's a star, isn't he?
Hauled the ball in that was going over everybody's shoulders. Kicks on the way out for Cripps. Player of the day will be for La Cabra, home of the GOAT Mexican food. Cripps goes to half forward. Andrews came out, ran interference, knocked it down to Neal in the tackle, ball it up.
So you saw Harris Andrews came out. Big Harry Mackay just ran to the goal square to try and be for the easy one over the top. You've got to come with him.
Half forward stoppage. Blues desperate to win it. Walsh committed himself, but Bailey won the footy. Off to McKenna. Kick comes forward to McCarthy.
Tempo.
Yep. Now he goes with the rifle shot to half forward. Archie couldn't quite haul it in, but broke through anyway. He kicks. It's an avalanche. That's 9 of the last 10 goals for the Lions. And it comes on the back of Carlton's persistence and striving and urging where they've laid it all out there. And they've just been hit savagely on the rebounds. 21-point leaders, the Lions, with 4 minutes to play in the third term.
I know it sounds kind of trite to say, look, they're conserving their energy, they're playing tempo, but what it does mean is when the moment presents itself for Brisbane, they've got full capabilities to explode
and explode
at 100%.
On their terms.
Yes,
on their terms, Dern.
When that moment presents itself.
When the window's open, bang, they take their opportunity, and that just slices through the hearts of Carlton.
And in opposition to Carlton, to get the ball forward, everything has to be full throttle effort at all times. That's the difference in the game at this point in time.
The McCarthy kicks the team player of the day anthem. Workwear get inspired. Bounce outside the circles, and there's a shepherding free kick paid rather than recalling it. It's Pitnet's ball.
He could have got to it, Oscar, but he just shepherded Pitnet away.
Pitnet kicks for the hot spot, and it's filled by Coleman, who's been absolutely brilliant. Out now to Robertson. Coleman in game number 63 has never played a better one or a more important one than this.
You know what, I reckon there's an ageing veteran in the stands by the name of Daniel Rich who goes, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
He's the man for my spot, and well played.
On to Fletcher, who will kick the Lions to half forward. McInerney in front. Pitnet ended up with it. Hand passed it out the back. Newman is back. Off to Walsh, caught in the tackle. A throw was paid against Walsh.
Geez, they're hunting now, hunting in packs.
It's Zorko's ball.
Air and ground.
That was clever by Zorko. He ran away from where the ball was being thrown to see if he could milk a 50. Zorko plays it into the pocket. Charlie Cameron flew, knocked away by Sard once and twice out of play.
The only issue about that is the Carlton player threw it back to Charlie, and umpire Robert Finlay caught it. He's the one who threw it to Zorko, and Zorko ran away from it. And he wanted the 50, but Finlay has to look at him and say, no, I threw it to you, mate.
That's quite funny, isn't it? Lions attacking yet again at the throw-in. Shearer had a fly at it. McInerney ended up with it. High ball all the way across the face of goal. It takes a bounce end over end and out of play.
Oh, they're just suffering body blows now, Carlton. They're on the ropes, and this is body blow after body blow. Look, you look at the scoreboard, it's 3-3, the margin. It feels like 8 or 9.
It does. It does. McInerney taps it down. Bailey underneath. He played for the high free kick. It's a good piece of umpiring.
Well, look at this again on the
He lowers, he slips.
Yep.
Hollins went in over the top, not paid. Crowd doesn't like it. If Bailey had stood upright, Walsh cannons into the stoppage. Hollins is met severely. Hand pass from Neil. Danaher tried to sweep it off the turf. It didn't work as Wiedering kicks out on the full. The restart is quick from Wilmot. He was trying to find Dunkley. Cripps made the spoil. Dunkley knocks it goal side still. Chera stood in the jam, had his kick smothered. Zorko did that piece of work, and it results in a ball up.
So ahead of the footy, if this ball carries 40 metres Carlton's direction, the 3 forwards have to contend with 5 backmen.
McInerney out the side, sharked by Chincotta. Kick to no avail to relieve the pressure because Gardner is there and he sweeps the hand pass backward to McKenna. He's been damaging by foot and this is no exception. Brought it up to Fletcher, who used it quickly into the channel. Didn't find a target though. Newman saw it coming all right. Out to Cripps and off to Walsh. Kicks the Blues beyond halfway. De Koning presents. It's Pagan's Paddock out the back. De Koning pins the ears back. He needs a bounce. It went the wrong way. Out to the right and out of bounds against the behind post.
So that again is a panic kick. Charlie's just giving him a bit of a dressing down now because he turned and ran and made reasonably good position. It would have had to have been a perfect kick, but it was a higher probability and better chance than what De Koning elected to do.
Blues desperately searching for one. Fletcher underneath, tackled by Fogarty from the boundary throw-in, ball up.
So it's been a long, long time. But if they just get one here, there's belief. A little bit of hope creeps back in.
Pitnet is hunting the ball underfoot. Didn't find a teammate. Neil got caught on the way out, got a hand pass, didn't go far. Walsh swings it back over his shoulder. Fogarty brought it in, had released the hand pass. Cottrell's got it. Kick was partially smothered. It drifts off out into the pocket. It's got to be one underfoot. Chera did. He got taken high. That was a clear free kick.
He's hurt his shoulder, Lockie Neal, Jared. I don't know if it's popped out, but he's grasped that shoulder since he got taken to ground.
Yeah, looking at him here, still on screen in the car sales, everything you auto know, replay. Yeah, he braces 2 elbows into the ground as he falls forward and takes his own body weight. Yeah, the crowd don't like this free kick. They say, what about the one at the other end? But Chera's down contesting the ball. He hasn't lowered his height after winning it.
Adam Chera, it just has to be, and he can't. He drills it near side through from behind. And that is with the flagging Carlton fortunes. They're down by 20 points. Kick-in was a quick one.
Not a great deal of know-how in that set shot there.
Zorko's taken the mark. He's going to clear the area long down the line to the marking contest. Rayner wins it, spins out the front, hand pass to McCarthy. Oh, yes. Charlie Cameron's on in the pocket. Oh, the siren beat him. That is a cruel fate because he was going to motor in. He would have closed to a yard or 2 from the targets and really finished it off. It's Brisbane by 20 points. The Blues went goalless in that term while Brisbane added 3 more. 9-9-63. To Carlton, 6-7-43. Multiple goal kickers. Danaher and McInerney have 2 each for the Lions. That's the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard. This is AFL Nation for Tyre Power. Big footy final sale.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Robot Building Supplies. Robots got it.
On the tools and off the tools, life is about balance, and Anthem Performance Workwear is designed for active tradies at work and on the weekend. Build your greatest achievements with the Anthem range of shorts, pants, tees, outerwear and accessories that are constructed to meet the tough demands on the worksite while complementing your recreational lifestyle. For the most versatile and active-orientated workwear on the market, designed to inspire and motivate the lives of all tradies, visit anthemworkwear.com.au. What's tougher than tough? NHP's ISO range of plugs, sockets and switches. With over 400 options covering 10 to 50 amps in 3, 4 and 5 pin configurations, NHP's industrial strength options range of plugs, sockets and switches is diverse and excellent value. IP66 and UV stabilised as standard with chemical resistant versions available, you won't find a tougher range for your industrial, commercial and domestic applications. Hot or cold, indoor or outdoor, NHP's ISO range is tough. ISO Tough. Available at your local electrical wholesaler.
Here's another powerful reason to choose Tyre Power. It doesn't matter what car you drive, where you drive, how you drive, or even what you might be towing behind you. You can trust Tyre Power to have the tyre to suit you. And as Australia's biggest independent, we have the buying power to make sure the price suits your budget as well. Get the power at Tyre Power for whatever you drive. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
Protect your business with Star 21's mobility security services, protecting your mobile devices to keep confidential data safe. Star 21. Discover the difference.
Star 21. We keep you connected.
At Bunnings Trade, we're committed to delivering the lowest prices all year round. It's what we do. We work hard to bring you the lowest prices on our huge range of trade quality products and brands like Makita, DeWalt, AEG, Pazload and more. And if you do find a competitor's lower price on the same stocked item, we won't just match it, we'll beat it by 10%. Conditions apply. See website for details. Talk to our trade specialists in store or call Trade Assist on 134872 for sourcing products, stock availability, fast quotes and delivery. Bunnings Trade. Helping business is our trade.
Imagine how good your AFL team could be with 3 extra sets of defensive players. Imagine if your business's digital security had the same level of protection. A to B Tritanium helps secure your business network by removing usernames and passwords, protecting you from ransomware attacks up to 750 times faster than any other digital protection. And if someone does get through, you'll recover in seconds, not weeks. For your free vulnerability assessment, contact A to B Tritanium. Visit a2btritanium.com.
With Keno Go, you have the chance to win up to $20 million every 3 minutes in the palm of your hand. It's simple. You pick up to 10 numbers, Keno Go picks 20, and the more numbers you match, the more you win. $20 million is up for grabs every 3 minutes, right from your phone. Keno Go. Download the app today.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
What's better than winning a game? Winning the flag. Host Plus has been named Super Rating Super Fund of the Year for 2023, based on strong performance, competitive fees and a focus on members. That's a plus.
Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Visit lonsec.com.au for awards and ratings criteria and disclosure. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. Awards and ratings are only one factor to consider. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search, compare Host Plus today.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
You're listening to the finals on AFL Nation. For Tyre Power, Big Footy Finals sale now on. Macca's, I'm loving it moments. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back.
They go at it a couple of times. The free kick being paid. Oh, it was Brisbane's way and Cripps kicked it away. It's a 50-metre penalty. Oscar McInerney in the channel for the perfect start for the Lions. Hipwood's out the back, Marchbank trying to close him down. Hipwood turns, hand pass for Charlie Cameron, wheels around and goals. Strike up the band. Now he goes with the rifle shot to half forward. Archie couldn't quite haul it in, but broke through anyway. He kicks. It's an avalanche. That's 9 of the last 10 goals for the Lions. I'm loving it moments for Macca's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Stephen King.
Yeah, Jared, look, I know clearly it's a prelim final, but Carlton need to risk losing this game by 10 goals in order to have a chance of winning it. And what I mean by that is play 6 forwards, play with some dare again with ball in hand. If Brisbane want to sit a +1 behind the footy, play 7 forwards. Just take the game on. You've got nothing to lose now, but if you play slow and straight, it's not going to go your way.
I know Kennedy's not an explosive animal, but he is a bit of a beast. you got to find some way to pull your sub pretty quickly and get him on there, because they are running out of legs.
He's in there now, Dermy. Looks like he's at centre bounce. Kennedy's in.
So who's Fogarty's gone out? Just having a look at the bench on the far side. So Kennedy into the fray. Going to keep an eye on Lachie Neale, who injured his shoulder in the final exchanges of that third term. Brisbane by 20 points and a false bounce. An anti-climax.
Had that one at three-quarter time for start of the last night's fourth quarter as well.
The delivery of the ball for Mackers in the middle. Ruckman go to work, tapped out the side. Neale wins the fierce ball to be contested. Hand pass to Dunkley, kick to full forward. Danaher couldn't get a run at it in the skirmish with Wiedering. McCarthy threatens up forward. Cameron as well. As soon as he took possession, he was shut down by Hollins and Boyd.
Gee, that looked dangerous. Saad has first dibs on the ball at ground level, and McCarthy just bullocks him off the ball.
Pitnet won the tap. Dunkley fierce again at the footy. Newman stood in the tackle, absorbed it, hands it back to the ump. His right eye is almost fully closed, Newman. Saad received the tap. High ball on the way out, will only just clear the 50. Jack Martin wins it. Hand pass to Doherty. The Blues trying to get the run out of halfback. Sideways to McGovern, had to wait underneath but did well. Hand passed, instant release. Off to Hewitt, now to Doherty. Ran himself into a dead end. Hipwood tipped it away and works the intercept. Low ball scunged forward, cut off by Marchbank.
Oh, that was a moment. They had them on the run. Harry had made good position 50 metres up the line, traversing across the ground to make space against Harris Andrews.
Inboard to Boyd and across now to Kennedy. Loops out onto the right boot. Hollins is his target. Nice mark. Berry overcommitted, but Neale got across the boot to smother. Splendid stuff. Hand pass to Berry. The Lions bring it out of halfback. They kick poorly, though, to a 2-1 against, and Wiedering in over the top.
Looks like they're going to try and be brave. He's kicked it on a 45 then.
To Hollins, to Newman, almost run down. It affected the kick. Came up short. Neale is there again for Brisbane in everything early in this final term. Up to Zorko. Out wide to McCluggage. He'll just give them a chance to set up Hipwood and Danaher deep. He goes the kick into the pocket instead, and that's magnificently done to Cameron. Can't kick it better than that.
Yeah, lick your lips at that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. As you called, Jared, Lachie Neale, a couple of massive moments to start this last quarter.
So he's just fine. Charlie Cameron's made a mess of a couple tonight. He is kicking for his second goal. He's going to stay the conventional drop punt angle to the left. It's near side off the boot. 1-2 and a couple that haven't scored.
Even that one then, Sardi didn't defend against Charlie Cameron as if his life depended on it. And I know that sounds emphatic, but that's what you've got to do in these moments. It's got to be everything invested in defending that lead and mark by Charlie Cameron.
Signet scoreboard in this final term. Lions by 21 points. Wiedering marked the kick in, takes the territory down the line, but he overkicks Harry Mackay, and it's well marked by Andrews. Centering ball's a good one to Hipwood. He wants to get it in, and get it in with purpose. McCarthy, so good overhead.
As they say, trying to play assertive, McGovern, playing off him, trying to cover a lead out to the other side. Thought he could get back to his opponent, McCarthy, on that occasion. So 10, 15 metres off. Plays up the ground a little bit.
And that kick from Hipwood just gets there quickly.
Yeah.
Just punches it through the air.
This is the link that might make it a bridge too far. McCarthy from close in sends the Lions to a 27-point lead. The first of the final term. 10-10-70 to Carlton 6-7-43. Signet scoreboard. Signet Mag family. Power every moment.
So there are moments, and they are infinite moments. Finite moments. You have to take them in that half second. When Doherty goes forward on the wing at the start of this quarter about 4 minutes ago. He has to trust his left foot. He doesn't. He wheels back onto the right. The handball gets smothered. It stays there. Hollands has to see that he's under pressure, has to kick. Once he wrong foots Berry, he has to get the ball inside forward 50. He takes one step too many and Lachie Neale smothers. They're two moments they'd love back again.
Bounced back in the middle. Clever work by Dunkley, down to Neale, wins another clearance. A bouncing ball wide of McCarthy this time. McGovern got there, McCarthy rounded him up. McGovern had to release the footy. Robertson fighting tooth and nail with Hewitt. It'll be balled up. McCarthy's been terrific.
And getting stronger too.
Yep.
I feel like he's playing himself even deeper into this game.
Walsh comes through the stoppage at half-back for the Blues, out to Hewitt. Neale lays the tackle on McGovern, just will not let him out. He might win holding the ball. He does. It was on Kennedy, actually. Kennedy's asking what more he could have done. He throws the ball hard at Neale.
He grabbed his right arm while he had him tackled around the waist.
Kicks for Danaher, up he went, dragged down without it. McCarthy kicks it to full forward. Hollands camped underneath, relieves.
That's brave.
It is.
Collapsed on him there, Eric Hipwood.
A mark of the day for Flight Centre. Hollands at fullback. Out the side to Newman. Marchbank is probably suitably loose out at half-back. The kick goes a bit shorter than that to Boyd.
We look down the line, there's Big Oscar and there's also, got to bite it off
Kick on
inside.
the 45, low down to Walsh. Hippard got a hand in there. Bailey took on the tackle, got caught, ball it up.
Trying to force it now, Carlton, aren't they? I mean, yeah, as you said, Doom, they can't just keep going long down the line.
McInerney tapped it down. Berry got it to Boots. Only as far as Doherty, though. Kicks into centre field. 2-on-1 against Motlop. Archie dragged down. Hewitt did well. Martin over his head in front of the play. It lands with Hewitt again. Has a look to the forwards who are present this time. But Harris Andrews just too good. Too good for Harry Mackay.
No, Harry didn't draw the ball. He sort of loitered on the lead. If he sprints out on a 45, he gets width. They put the ball out in front of him and he'll mark it.
Andrews was the first to put his shoulder to the wheel in that opening term when it was all running against them. Dunkley brings it out of defence to Zorko. He chips it up to Berry. We've gone 7 minutes of this final term on the Makita XGT clock. Power without limits.
Just playing on their terms now, Durham. Just
Totally.
Kick mark, wait for that window to open up and then they'll go fast. But at the moment, they don't need to take any risks here, Brisbane.
Berry, Leicester, McKenna. McKenna kicks it up beyond halfway. Danaher had a fly, chop of the arms or a hold. I think take your pick. It's Danaher's free kick.
Oh, so Pitnet's caught on the mark here. And Big Oscar runs forward, so he might kick it to his advantage here. He's a chance to grasp this.
Yes, he's got the midgets against him. Danaher's going to give him a look at it. Hipwood's drawn a crowd to him, though. And McInerney almost took the mark anyway. He fights on at ground level. Hipwood's hand pass was battered down. Walsh knocked off the footy. Bailey coming through, tried out of midair once and twice. Cameron tries again. They're all defending for their lives, these Navy Blues. They roll it through for a behind.
I don't want to be a killjoy, but that was holding the man because he was trying to kick it off the ground and Saad was actually tackling him.
28 points now as Saad kicks the ball long down the outer wing. Off hands, it'll go out of play at the interchange gates. 10-11 to 6-7 in the Lions' favour. Signet scoreboard, Signet Mag family, power every moment. Australian designed, Australian owned. De Koning and McInerney set up for the throw-in. De Koning, clear tap. Robertson, though, read it well. Got his hand pass away in a tackle. Took some territory. Boyd cuts it off for the Blues in defence. Hand pass to McGovern, who missed the 1-2. Boyd slipped, took some high contacts. Free kick. Plays on instant. Found the chest at Chera. That opens the possibilities inside 50. Mackay was held. Andrews draped an arm around the waist and didn't give Harry a chance to contest. So that's half the equation only, though, as Harry's wide out on the left.
Look, so he loves going around the corner. He's on the wrong side to do that. Not only is he low percentage kick the goal here, I'm not sure whether he can score from here.
Got to suck it up and thread it through. Mackay hits the left-hand post with such ferocity it nearly uprooted. That'll rock for the next 5 minutes.
It's been an hour since they've kicked a goal.
Yeah, 27-point deficit. 1 goal after quarter time. That was Patrick Cripps from a free kick. Coleman brings it out of the back pocket. Berry flew, takes the mark against Hollands. He was dragged down afterward. Crowd all pointing for 50. It goes unrequited. Mackay has kicked 1 goal, 2 in his work, and Charlie Curnow has kicked 1 goal, 1. That ball went so high it disappeared from our view. Hipwood had a fly, couldn't take the mark. Chincotta underneath, muscled over the boundary by Cameron. Throw it in. Player of the day for visit mildura.com.au. The Lions have pieced that together since quarter time. They've inflicted significant damage, as they do here at home. McInerney planted in front, knocked it down. Dunkley scooped it forward. Hollands took the tackle on, got met by Rayner and dispossessed. Berry out in front of Robertson. Knocked it out from McCluggage. Worked over. McGovern to Doherty on the way out. Hand pass to Hollands. Oh, he missed his target. Chera has to go back and get it. Confronted by Rayner. Up to Crisby. Double-handled Cripps as he was met by Robertson. Berry pulled it away. Kicks for Cameron. Dragged down. Had to be a free kick.
He got punished to the rib cage again there, Paddy Cripps.
He was up and wide open, wasn't he? And he just flinched.
Yeah. So it's a loose ball that gets to him, so it's not a mark, so he has to try and grasp that ball with 2 hands above his head, and he flinched knowing that he was going to be cannoned into, and Robertson just lowered the shoulder and planed into that rib cage.
Charlie Cameron, it would be so popular to seal a place in the grand final. No, it hits the left-hand post.
Could be the sealing point.
Has he left a few out there? 28 points. They're well home.
Yeah.
Just out of politeness, it's just 1 more goal to tip them over the top.
I think too, Jared, it's really important that Brisbane finish this game in a ruthless manner.
Yep.
Having had 2 weeks off leading into this game, they want that 4-quarter hit out with real intensity.
Akers ran the gauntlet. Boyd ran the gauntlet to get it up to half forward. Martin, sharp hand pass out the side. Hewitt has it against the boundary. Centering ball. Cripps can go back and take the shot at goal. 30 out directly in front. Right on the halfway mark of the final term. The Makita XGT clock, power without limits. Cripps has kicked Carlton's only goal after quarter time. To double that feat, and it's almost the identical shot he had at this end in the second term. Cripps sends it on its way, and that's through for a goal. Much needed cause to cheer for the travelling Blues Brigade. It has been a famine after the early feast. They're down by 22 points. 7-8-50 to Brisbane, 10-12-72 on the Signet scoreboard. Signet Mag family, power without limit.
So they're all chips in there, Carlton. So you've got Pittinetti who'll be taking the ruck. Kennedy's come on for a bit of fresh legs or freshness around the footy. Cripps, Doherty, Chera. Well, Cripps is going to step out. He's going to wander it half forward now and hopefully outstretch one of those smaller Lions backmen. McCluggage, Zach Bailey and Dunkley into the middle underneath Oscar McInerney.
Big centre bounce, Dern. If Carlton can win this one quickly.
AFL Nation for Tyre Power. Big footy finals sailed. Pitnet won the tap out the side. Walsh first access. Fletcher came from the wing to disrupt the play. Bailey brought down by Walsh. Secondary baller. Tossed up without much hesitation. Dunkley underneath, monstered by Walsh. Try again. So Cripps has come up to the stoppage now. It's the attacking side of it. Dunkley drags it away underneath. Kick up to centre half forward. Chincotta cut it off. Hand pass to Newman. Found a passage where there was none. Hand pass to Cripps. Deft touch down to Walsh. Kick into the forward line. Harry! Mackay takes the mark, standing in front of Andrews.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good mark. Cripps was pivotal once again. It was like a ruckman's tap out to the floating ball.
And Walsh's run from that stoppage initially to get forward of the ball to get on the end of that as well was crucial.
To believe. They've got to get something to make them believe that they can still win this.
Harry Mackay from the opposite side of goal to where he hit the post previously. Left foot drop punt. He's found it this time.
Good boy.
Two in quick succession for the Blues. We're in cheap thrill territory. Will it grow from there?
You've got to believe. As soon as you say, look, I think we'll try and be brave from here, you're done. This gives them the feeling that we only need 2, 3, 4 in a row centre bounce clearances, and we're a puncher's chance.
A puncher's chance is a great phrase. And the Blues fans are desperate to believe they're trying to infuse the troops with something late.
Oh, here we go. A quick move here. Cottrell's played forward all night to run up and down the ground. Now they've popped him to the wing. So they're going to try and get some explosiveness around the outside of the footy.
Kennedy, Walsh and Hewitt in the middle to row to Pitnet. McInerney, Neal, Bailey and Rayner the opposing force. At the bounce, Pitnet got clean access, knocked it forward. Bailey was positioned ever so well for the Lions though. High ball, Cottrell gets back.
Run, son, run, play on.
Ran off the wing. Now he gets them going forward. His kicks for Motlop, perfectly weighted. Motlop wheels onto the right. Got to give them a look deep. He hasn't given Harry pole. He got bowled over by Gardner. Oh, that's legal, the umpire said. Gardner just cannoned into Mackay. I can't see how that's legal. He got him flush in the back and took him to ground.
It's one of those ones I think the umpire thinks that's half accidental, so I'll let it fly.
It's still in the back.
It is.
40 out from Carlton's goal. Pitnet wins the tap down, repelled by Berry. Wiedering up to intercept.
Awesome.
Carlton are giving it their absolute all here. Kicks for De Koning. Not quite. Got the first bite, not the second. Kick smothered off Berry's boot. And Cottrell will see it over the boundary.
There you go. That's a little bit of that wheels. Cottrell coming up into the middle, and that means he can press in behind the footy for that type of exit strategy by Brisbane.
And it's the old adage, Durham, big men don't get any shorter, and you see deep in their forward line now the three big targets.
Yeah, Carlton trying to
some supply.
Trying to outstretch them, aren't they, in the inside 25.
Trailing by 16 points, the Blues. Pitnet kicked it out of the ruck, back to the boundary and over.
The shallow throw-in landed at the feet.
Cripps has had to tag out to take a breather over on the bench for Spitwater, tough and ready.
On the Carlton side of things, how good has Jacob Wiedering been?
Pitnet and McInerney tie up. Tap down underfoot. Chera committed himself. Kennedy didn't go far. Neal cut it off. Off to Bailey. Kicks to the wing. Over Wiedering and Danaher. Marchbank kicks a wobbler going forward. Coleman came out, made two spoils. The second landed with McCarthy. Lovely opening hand pass. Bailey kicks to full to Hipwood out at half forward. Can't keep it in against the boundary. Marchbank did enough. Now 50 out from the Lions goal though. 7 minutes to play. 16-point leaders.
Brisbane go for a +2 in the back line now.
At the throw-in, Pitnet tapped it down, then gathered. Hand pass to Kennedy, up the line. Terrific lunging spoil made by McKenna, who knocked it away from Walsh. Just momentarily up on the scoreboard came Gil McLaughlin, but next to him was Richard Goyder, and I have a feeling the Qantas customers let Richard Goyder know exactly what they thought. I haven't seen an AFL official booed for many a year. Not since the Ross Oakley days, but they were sharp here, the Lions fans. Kennedy wins it at the stoppage out of half-back. He got half knocked off his kick. It's a chaotic ball. Charlie Curnow handled it well. Kicks to a one-on-one. Andrews had front position. Mackay made the spoil. De Koning desperate to get into it. Leicester kept it away. Free kick.
Geez, he played that well, Harris Andrews. Read the fly of the ball and backed his judgment in. That's a huge play.
Was this as if he was the forward, wasn't it?
Leicester was held, so it's his ball. Crowd posted 36,012 fans at the preliminary final at the Gabba. Leicester takes the territory down the line. Danaher cannoned into the pack. It fell for Chera. Out the back to Sard. Works it around to Boyd. Back inside the 50. Charlie Curnow in a test of strength. Almost hauled it in one-handed. Confronted by a couple. They hold him up.
Clever. They gently tackled him because he had his head over the footy. Anything that's too robust there gets a free kick against for head high while he's crouched over it.
45 from the Carlton goal. Pitnet out to Kennedy. Forges a path. Hand pass to Hewitt. Tosses it up to full forwards. De Koning was there. He couldn't take the mark. Underneath, Dunkley worked the hand pass around. Bailey's got to get out of the pocket. He does. Hand passed it away to Coleman. Kicks up the line. Wiedering and Danaher engaged. They cleared them. Marchbank's there to tidy up. Dragged off it by Hipwood. Good hands. Sheridan will with Wiedering and back to Chera. Now the expansive switch. Can Blues get numbers out the far side? Newman hand passes to Doherty. What's he got? Straight up the guts. Perfect nose. So well read by Wilmot. Coming up to the footy was Kennedy. At a right angle, Wilmot got across to save the day. A team player of the day for Anthem Workwear. Get inspired. Short ball to Gardner. Time is Brisbane's ally. 5 minutes remain. Gardner to Zorko. And now Wilmot again.
Matt Kennedy's had 5 possessions since he's come on in this quarter for Safety Steel Sheds. Had a little influence, a little impact.
Wilmot is cramping. He's kicked wide and Archie crashed in. And it's left McGovern the worse for wear. And he got the knee in the left thigh. And he can't stand for the moment, McGovern. He's going to have to tag out. Centre wing, outer side. Tap was read by Hewitt. Worked it away to Akers. Put it out in front of the play, but McKenna cuts that foray off over the boundary.
They're definitely moving the ball better and they're definitely a little bit stronger around the contest now, Carlton. But it's as if Brisbane have got their sighter in defence. They're playing a +1 inside defensive 25-30.
McInerney pulled it out of the ruck. He took 40 metres, landed on the chest of Danaher, who had it knocked out of his grasp by Newman. Umpire decides not to be a killjoy on the contest, and Danaher will take his ball up on the wing. Chris Fagan knows it's only going to take one more goal, and he'd be ruined that Charlie Cameron hit the post 7 or 8 minutes ago, which opened up a possibility for Carlton.
Kicks for the pocket.
Up they go. No real attackers. Marchbank took the mark. Risky kick. Doherty fingertip it. Couldn't get it. McCluggage did. Hit the right-hand post. They're peppering every post at the moment. The Lions. There's 4 minutes to play. They lead by 17 points. They can't land the kill shot. So in it comes to Wiedering. It's devil-may-care stuff, and the kick came up short. Coleman marks. Hand pass to Gardner was an interesting choice. Gardner showed him the footy. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. He's kicked it to the goal line. McCarthy's taken it right there. Darcy Gardner's set up the winner.
Zach Bailey charged down his opponent. I think the Carlton player coming out, he was trying to make that kick to the wing and it fell short. Just great pressure. Great pressure.
Lincoln McCarthy tucks the mouth guard into the sock, watches the shot clock tick down. The Lions fans know that this is the kill shot. Lincoln McCarthy from point blank range puts them into the grand final. McCarthy has kicked both of the Lions' goals in this final term. And having absorbed a late flurry from Carlton, They push it away to 23 points.
Look, I don't know if we are sponsored by any undertakers, but maybe send them in next door to Mark McClure, Wayne Johnson and Andy Mark. It is very glum in there, and yes, that'd be one interesting commentary coming out of there at the moment. Sellers is actually texting home at the moment, so I think he wants to check out now, but well done, Brisbane Lions. You've absorbed that pressure that Carlton brought again. You took their best shot in the first quarter, and you're going to go to a grand final to meet Collingwood.
11 of the last 13 goals the Lions have kicked in the game after they were jumped 5 goals to nil. Carlton win the clearance in the middle. Kick goes up inside the 50, and Cottrell takes the mark. Walsh with clean access out the front. And Matty Cottrell, who kicked the first of this preliminary final, has a shot with 2.5 left on the clock. From 45 out, he pumps it hard, but to the near side and through from behind. 22-point margin, Signet scoreboard, Signet Mag family. Power every moment. At the restarts, McKenna left the goal square, kicked it long interchange side of the ground. There was some interference on Marchbank. Blues with a free kick against Danaher. Marchbank up to full forward. Martin had a fly. Neil is still working tirelessly underneath for the Lions. Nice kick out in front of Fletcher. He means to go because Cameron's on down the line. Saad trying to get back. Paul had perfect hang time. Cameron plays on. He hasn't kicked it very well tonight, it's fair to say, and this ball he was trying to get the Rayner over the back, but he hung it up short, and Chincotta makes the intercept for the Blues. So he's got room for improvement, Charlie Cameron, as he goes back to a grand final.
Yeah, no doubt. He's left a couple out there tonight. He's been so dangerous, though, as per usual.
Boyd into the middle of the grounds. Charlie Curnow came up at it. Coleman and Neil, two of the Lions' best, brought him down.
I think Chris Fagan in their coaching box would be really happy with Lester and Gardner tonight. I mean, the threat that they were under, and they've actually stood up really well.
Yeah.
Give us a smile, Fags. The camera's on him in the box. He's mid-conversation. Dunkley pulls it clear inside 50. Cameron paddles over Ranitz. Saad gathers as a result. Hand pass to Kennedy. In close to Walsh. On now to Cripps. Worried out of it by Neil. Kennedy, though, wins it back for the Blues. Not before there's a free kick. It's Neil's free kick. Cripps has been playing with broken ribs, I reckon, for weeks, and he is really feeling those now.
He actually looked tentative when you talk in that way when he took the ball then.
Neil kicks it up to full forward. Newman fills the hole and takes the mark.
Inside the final minute now, so all academic. Let's see if the Blues can go for it and at least get another one.
Newman to Marchbank, bites off the kick to Cripps, who links it up to Walsh, kicks the Blues inside the 50. Jack Martin's going to take a fly at things. He takes the mark. Charlie Curnow got ironed out by Starcevic in the contests. And Martin's just been put back on his right angle. Jack Martin twirls the footy across the 50, right foot drop punts. It looked good off the boot, and it goes through for a major.
He's second for the night, 10th possession, so hasn't been dominant. Just hasn't been bad, but it just hasn't looked like it really influenced the game. That missed week probably hurt him for continuity of his game, missing a lot of footy this year, coming in late, probably the last 6-7 weeks. But that miss last week has probably just stifled his run somewhat.
7 seconds to go. 11-13, 79 Brisbane. Carlton 9-9, 63. The Lions fans have stood to chat their way through these final seconds. A bounce in the middle. High to work under. Tap came the way of Lyons, who's come in. Inside 50, spoil made on Hipwood. Bailey, what a gather. Siren sounds. A perfect season at the Gabba is the launching pad to the last day at the MCG. 20 years on, the Lions will again face Collingwood in the AFL Grand Final. They sink the Blues by 21 points. Making 16 points. The final score at the Gabba, Brisbane 11-13-79 defeat Carlton 9-9-63 in front of 36,012 fans. Carlton led by 23 at quarter time, the Lions by 3 at the half, 20 at the final change and 16 at the close. 2 goals for Danaher, for McCarthy and for McInerney, with singles to Archie, Cameron McKenna, Hipwood and Lester. 2 for Cripps, 2 for Mackay and 2 for Martin. Singles to Doherty, Curnow and Cottrell. Chris Fagan is taking his own team to the grand final. The Lions are back in the big way. Dermot Brereton and Stephen King, our experts for Local Expert, get a job well done with Local Experts.
I believe that Chris Fagan is only the second coach in history who hasn't played league football who's taking a team into the grand final. So, yeah, rare air in this type of a format here, this company. So, I think Carlton have been brave for the year. It would have been so easy at the halfway mark, Kingy, just to say, that'll do. You know, let's fight out a few, but we're not going to make it. But they have been electric. They've been fantastic. And they've brought the Carlton faithful to life again from June, July, August.
Absolutely, Derm. It's been great for footy, and the momentum they created in the back half of that year. I mean, yeah, they've got plenty of upside, and I think their members that have come up here today, watch this game live, would be tremendously proud of what they've achieved the back half this year.
But the stories with Brisbane, I mean, the way we call it now, a lot of the time we don't get to travel and come. Tonight we have. I haven't seen Brisbane with the naked eye at the Gabba this season. It's the first time I'm watching on TV. You tend to think this team's electric. They can be electric. They were a lot, when you're here at the ground and you look behind the ball, you look in front of the ball, they're a lot more methodical than you think. It's not just explosive on turnover, as we keep hearing, oh, they're explosive. Yeah, they are, but they pick their moments. They are very methodical and recognise the moment when to explode. So they don't needlessly waste team energy about always being in hectic mode.
Absolutely, Derm. They're mature. They've got great experience now, but they're actually really physical and brutal inside of the contest. So they have got that electricity on the outside, but geez, when it's tough, they're there for it, as we saw tonight.
So I was saying earlier, I saw them the naked eye in Melbourne, and the Hawks exposed a little lack of pace that game at the MCG. Thereafter, we've seen the infusion of a few younger players with leg speed. Fletcher and the like. Kadeen Coleman's taken over from Daniel Rich. So they've got leg speed now, which they lacked on occasion for certain circumstances in the first half of the year. They're not a slow team anymore. They used to be lumbering out of stoppage. Now they've got exit speed.
You're right. And with Gunson and Rich probably losing their spot in the team, they've been replaced with speed and some youth. And, geez, they've paid them back now. I mean, as you say, that they don't have any real weak links amongst the ground that you look at. And their youth are actually providing a lot of enthusiasm and energy and, you know, complement what they've got inside with their experience.
So we look at these are the Carlton fans who are standing to applaud. This team has given them the days of their lives over the past couple of months. And they will cheer them off here in Brisbane. They gave them an enormous thrill at the start of this game, kicking the first 5 goals. They were full of heart when they were overwhelmed at the end. And that's the appreciation of the fan base who, at various stages, have been at this team in those grim months.
Yeah.
But the absolute appreciation and and a real sense of honour in the way that they played the back part of this season.
There's the sprinkling of Brisbane supporters who were over there amongst that huge Carlton support up here. They're actually applauding them too. I mean, they've been brave this season. Would have been easy to curl up your toes and go, that's about our lot. No, but they had a dig and say, as we know, friends and from all walks of life who support teams. I inordinately have a lot of Carlton mates, and they've come to life in their own way in the last 3 months. So, that team can be proud of what they've done this year. We go back to Brisbane now and have a look at this team. They've got this job done, and it's not Joey Danaher has to play well or we lose. I think Wiedering beat him tonight. He had his moments, a couple of times where he was able to read the ball a little bit better, outposition Wiedering while Wiedering was trying to be constructive for his team. He got into a dangerous spot and the ball made its way to him. So he took his moments, Joe Danaher. And then we have Eric Hipwood, who's played on Marchbank tonight, and I think Marchbank did very well also. So let's not say they got beaten, but they didn't win their position, and the Lions have come away with a win against really good opposition.
Absolutely, Derm. I don't think they rely on one particular player, and even Lachie Neale at stages early in the game was a bit quiet, but it's those around him that step up in crucial moments. And then Lachie Neale has his moments in the last quarter tonight where he was really important, probably after half time, really tough in the clinches and really clean. But they've got great depth, this team. They're not relying on one line or one player. They can get it done, all 22 of them.
And Kadeem Coleman in that second quarter, he was laser-like, wasn't he? I remember the old Terminator. He had the red laser light on top of the handgun. That was Kadeem Coleman tonight. The way he hit, you've got to see it on replay at some stage. You could get the highlights package, and Kadeem Coleman just cruising past the muck of the centre square stoppage and hits Joe Danaher lace out from 55 coming off the half-back line. It's just, what a wonderful display.
But what was even more impressive, Derm, from Coleman was his ability to defend some critical contests. Yeah. And he actually competed in the air and on the ground, which actually won his own ball as well. And when you're doing that with his talent and foot skills, geez, it's a weapon. It's a real arsenal that Brisbane have there.
So they'll reload now, and their challenge is to say how to beat league's best on foreign turf. And that will be grand finals are monstrous challenges, but that's the next hurdle for them to reach immortality.
So this is the crowd sending the Lions off with a great sense of joy and mission as they'll send them to Melbourne late next week for the grand final. Chris Fagan is the oldest coach to lead a team to a grand final in what he's about to do, and a great sense of a connection between player and coach and the embraces that were being shared out on the grounds.
So they're all off the ground now, and we'll see a bit of footage of them walking down, and they high-five the players who didn't make the cut, and they're in the hallway. They're Daniel Rich high-fiving and hugging Dane Zorko. Yeah, that's a great feeling when you know you're going to what will be one of the best days of your life. You, as a league footballer, and you can do it, King, you sort of look back and you go, and it's as simple as this, you can see your kids born and they're the best days of your life. As a footballer, on top of that, if you're fortunate enough to have that, the best days of your life are at the MCG in the final Saturday in September.
Just the whole week, Derm, the whole lead up. You know, you get family, you get mates from school that you haven't spoken to for years trying to reach out for tickets. But it's the sense not only for yourself, but you're representing your whole family and everyone that's ever helped you on that journey as a footballer. You're representing them during this week as well, and it's what you play footy for, mate. It's an incredible experience.
Are we able to take this song from the studio, I wonder? Brisbane Lions into the grand final for 2023. They will face Collingwood. That's the song down in the rooms, the celebrations for Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives every day of the year. We'll take a moment to compile our thoughts. We'll take you through the categories, and then we'll set you up for that grand final. We'll get the first blush from Dermot Burton and from Stephen King. 1 versus 2. The 2 qualifying final winners came back through. They had the week off, and they turned that into grand final appearances. You're on AFL Nation for Tyre Power Big Footy Final Sale.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Signet. Signet Mag Family. Power every moment.
Experience the freedom of battery power without sacrificing performance. Milwaukee Outdoor Power Equipment is the battery-powered alternative to petrol you've been looking for. Take your outdoor work to the next level. Enjoy the power, convenience, reliability, and safety benefits of Milwaukee innovation. Join the growing number of professionals who have switched to Milwaukee for their landscaping and outdoor maintenance needs. Discover the range at milwaukeetool.com.au. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty.
Kilmore LDV has been an LDV dealership since 2017 and has vehicles in stock and ready for work. Their dedicated team can assist anyone in Victoria looking for an LDV vehicle. Come and experience the professional service and view the full LDV range, including commercial vehicles, the T60 Ute, G10 van, Deliver 9 van, or the D90 SUV, and the new LDV MIFA People Mover range. Kilmore LDV, proud partner of the Kilmore community. Visit kilmoreldv.com.au today. LMCT 808.
Hey, it's Candy here. As a presenter in the world of sport, I see many powerful performances. Now, thanks to Azito, we're helping power your next DIY project. Did you know Azito's 18-volt range is powered by Einhell? German-designed quality, driving, innovation and performance. So you can power over 85 cordless tool and garden products with the same battery. Azito, powering DIYers all day, every day. Exclusively available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Get your garage or workspace under control with Racket heavy-duty modular shelving. They make tough storage easy. Just measure out your space, customise the system to suit your needs using Racket's online planner, and build tough. Racket, built easy, built tough. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Safety steel. Time to get real.
Tim Watson here. Can you remember as a kid painting goals on the side of your dad's shed and shooting for goals day after day? Well, they built them tough back then, just like the sheds from Safety Steel. For prefab, steel kit buildings and custom designed sheds that are tough and durable, search Safety Steel. For your dream shed, search Safety Steel.
Safety Steel. Time to get real.
Hello, it's Bargain calling. Get Kogan Mobile monthly plan. Unlimited talk, text, and 10 gigs for $15. Talk about a bargain. KoganMobile.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Hi, I'm with Dan Isaac from Caveat Loans Australia. Dan, what is a private caveat loan?
A private caveat loan is basically an alternative type of finance, which is much more flexible in comparison to a traditional bank, who have much more rigid credit criteria.
How hard is it to get an approval and who can apply?
Well, the good news is that almost any property or real estate owner can apply. We do not require any bank statements, no tax returns, no financials or proof of income. Best of all, your credit rating is irrelevant. Visit caveatloans.finance.
Terms, fees, conditions apply.
Real people, real products, real fun. No matter who you are, Sexyland has something real sexy for everyone. With Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, lingerie, couples toys and fun gifts and games for adults. Sexyland. 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong, open till midnight 7 days a week. Or shop online for 2-hour delivery. Sexyland.com.au.
A big game tonight. 80,000 in the house. Crowd excited. Siren goes. The umpire holds the ball aloft. Hold on. What's he holding? Is that a yellow boot? You can't bounce that. He's grabbed a yellow footy boot instead of a ball.
If only that umpire had phoned New Vision Clinics. Having performed over 30,000 procedures, Dr. Noel Alpins helps people see clearly and give the boot to glasses. To find out more or to book an obligation-free consultation, call 1-800-20-2020. That's 1-800-20-2020.
You're listening to the finals on AFL Nation. For Tyre Power, Big Footy Finals Sale now on.
Final score at the Gabba, the Brisbane Lions 11-13-79 defeated Carlton 9-9-63, margin of 16 points to book their place in the grand final. There were 36,012 fans here to see it. This is AFL Nation for Tyre Power, your big finals favourites for tyre safety. Let's hear from Lockie Neal on Channel 7.
Yeah, a bit of carry on, wasn't it? But exciting times. Credit to Carlton, they've had an unbelievable run, and first quarter I thought we were in trouble. They came and punched us in the face, and to the boys' credit though, that second quarter we responded really well and got ourselves back in the game, and second half we played our brand of footy, so we got back on top in the end, but it was a grind.
This club's been through an enormous amount, 5 final series, 2 preliminary finals to go to the big dance. What does it feel like?
Yeah, amazing feeling. It's 10 years since I went as a sub in 2013, so long time coming, but so proud of our group. We've come from nowhere in regards to sort of 6-7 years ago and been a challenger for a while, and we've given ourselves a shot at the Cup next week, which is awesome.
We saw you in the third quarter, just clutch at your shoulder. How is it?
Yeah, this one's given me a bit of grief over the years. This year it's actually held up well, but I'm fine. I've actually had surgery on it before through the front, so a little bit through the back, just a bit of a stinger, and it came good.
And what about some of the youngsters like Kitty Coleman off half back? Just phenomenal.
Kitty was unbelievable. He set up our ball movement tonight. Beautiful kick, and he sort of changed the game for us, I reckon. Probably our best player, and his defensive stuff's grown as well. He's a super defender too, but his ball use really sets us up.
Go and enjoy it.
Lockie Neal, one of the 2 captains for the Brisbane Lions, Harris Andrews and Lockie Neal, will dream of holding the cup up next Saturday night. It's over for the Blues with Patrick Cripps. Dermot Brereton and Stephen King in place. John, have a little workshop of spitball. How does this look as the Lions and the Pies prepare to meet our top 2 teams?
Well, the first thing I would throw up is that Lockie Neal's, even though it was a decade ago, his experience will be invaluable. So too Josh Dunkley. I mean, one thing you do have to deal with as a team when you get to a grand final is young players say, what are they like? It's almost mythical to reach a grand final. So whether you have to have older players who say, yeah, you do it this way. Yeah, you settle this way. Yes, this is the way we treat it. They are invaluable to be around players who have experienced the occasion before. So first thing I'd say is they're probably going to be lent on emotionally more so than, any other time during their existence at this, well, especially for Dunkley. This is his, he's only new up there, but they will be lent on.
Gunston as well, Derm, I think.
Yeah, true.
Brent Birchall's their runner. They've got some experience there. They've been there before. So, they will tap into those guys. But, what Josh Dunkley, what an addition he's been to this footy club for what he does and the grunt and the depth he's given their midfield. It's, finds himself back there again, which is credit to him and the way he's fit in and play his footy this year.
So we have a look at the way... the first thing we start to look at is the makeup of the teams. And we saw their opponents, Collingwood, lost Daniel McStay, an ex-Lion himself. Now, it's highly unlikely he even gets a look in to come back. I know Collingwood have semi-kept the vernaculars. They've ruled him out. Okay, so that's why we've been on air. They've done that. So he's ruled out. And we spoke to Righty before the game. Do they bring in Ginnivan and then look to another person, the next man up who becomes the sub, or do they bring in a similar size player to try and keep that structure the same of playing 2 key forwards and maybe a resting ruckman?
Or Doomy, would they swing Jeremy Howe forward and bring in a Noble down back as well? Just something that's another option. He's done it before at the back end of the season. He was playing forward a little bit, Jeremy Howe, so I wonder if that's something they'll go to as well.
Well, we saw Carlton tonight. They actually left Kemp out and they left Marchbank to play on Eric Hipwood. So, look, I was talking, a few hours ago, why break up the winning hand of the back line?
Yep.
But you might not need Murphy and Howe. Moore's playing down there. But you might not need Murphy and Howe in the back line. So the swing man would become Howe. And you trust Nathan Murphy to play on Eric Hipwood. I know everybody rolls off and rolls on and gives coverage at various times, but by and large, you set up to try and guard against quick entrance from from centre-bounce clearances. Can Murphy play on Hipwood? I'm sure he could make a good fist of it, but once again, you go back to, is that the way they like to set up? Do they like to swing off their opponents and have one tall player literally cover point every area of that inside 50 kick from the opposition? So it'll be interesting. That's the first thing we will talk about, is the makeup, the composition of the teams.
What about the styles?
Well, I think, Jared, this prelim weekend has probably just set both these teams up now to play their best football next week. I think they've just had two great hit-outs, and I'd expect both of them to, play. Well, Brisbane, I think, are more of a stoppage clearance team, take territory that way like we saw tonight. They really grind it out and win territory, and Collingwood are so lethal in the transition game off turnover. So, yeah, look, I think it'll be an amazing matchup, but clearly Brisbane have got that obstacle of going to the MCG to win they've got to win it there. They've got to do it there at Collingwood's home ground.
So they lost McStay, but they're not banged up, Collingwood. From everything we've seen, they've got everyone that they want out on the ground now, besides McStay, is a clean bill of health. The Lions are the same. So the two teams that got through from preliminary final haven't had to go out on the ground with injured players. You might gather the injury like a McStay along the way. So we've got two clean and healthy teams that will front up. So, yeah, they get to play their game style without any curtailment on the way they want to play. You mentioned that. So if you're sitting at home tonight and you're a Magpies fan, you're looking at it and you say, right, containment at the centre bounce. Carlton were able to do that in the first quarter, 5-1 out of the centre. But then that lethal weapon of Kadeem Coleman off the back line. I don't know, in big games like this, it's normally a midfielder or a key position player that you say he's best. That's why they won. I don't know if I could say anyone's played a better game tonight out there than Kadeem Coleman.
I have to agree with you. I think he was unbelievable. I know we spoke about his foot skills and how damaging he is with that weapon he's got but the ability for him just to win in half contests as well as a defender first. That's what really impressed me tonight. He brought the ball to ground, he put his body on the line to defend, and then off the back of that, he punished Carlton when he had the ball in his hands.
What do you think of Joe as the second ruck tonight? I thought he was better at that than as a key forward, even though, notwithstanding, I think he got two, and he worked his way into those two goals as well. But I thought he was okay around the ground. But Oscar's going to need a bit of a chop out on the MCG.
That's right, he is. And but look, I mean, he's such a seasoned campaigner now. I think he plays the game on his terms as a ruckman. He does get forward, so
and he's brutal.
So he'll match up well with Cox and Darcy Cameron as well. And I think he'll dish out as much as what he'll get. So they don't lose anything in that position in that matchup.
You work on a few votes here, Derm. 3, 2 and 1. Tackle of the game for Toro. Count on Toro to get the job done. It was Cam Rayner who was just ferocious and brutal in the middle in the second term as the Lions turned the game. The unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you Drinkwise. Carlton's first 5 goals of the game just set things alight and set us on a course for the night. The forever young player of the day for Tobin Brothers Funeral Celebrating Lives is going to be Lockie Neal, who just, even with what looked like a crook shoulder, was unstoppable. The Bendix breaks, big moments. Put your foot down with confidence. Bendix breaks. Cripps giving away the 50-metre penalty at the opening bounce of the second half when Carlton had to strike first, conceded a goal to Oscar McInerney. Ran the most kilometres. That was Hollands, 15.2. He'll sleep well tonight for the original Mattress Factory upgrade. Your sleep online or in-store today. The coaching move of the day for Henley Homes. Bonnie Brook Land for $350K. Come build a Henley home. Got a thought on a coaching move, Stephen?
Coaching move. Look, I think Josh Dunkley probably did what we thought he'd do. He nullified Cripps around the ball and found a bit himself. And, the way he works, I just think that matchup, that just locked something away for the Lions that would have given Chris Fagan a lot of comfort in the box.
The mark of the day for Flight Centre, your real deal centre, Charlie Curno's pack mark in the first term. MEGT Rookie of the Day. Let MEGT help you find the best workforce talent. It probably was Ollie Hollands and the game that he put together. MEGT need apprentices. Talk to MEGT. So Dermot, that leads us to the votes for La Cabra. Savour the food and embrace the Mexican culture. Visit lacabramexican.com.au.
Love to fit a Carlton player in there. I mean, it's a brilliant season they've had, but look, the Lions were just dominant for 3/4 of this game, even though the score doesn't look like a walkover, but they did it so comfortably in the end. When things were going bad, when they kept just gnawing away at the scoreboard, there was one bloke, and it'll seem surprising to a few, but I just thought he was instrumental in their ability to get on the scoreboard. Zach Bailey's pace away from stoppage was something that the Blues just weren't able to deal with on occasion. 19 possessions. I thought he was wonderful again. 2 votes to Josh Dunkley. Was asked to do a repeat performance on the great Paddy Cribs. He was able to do that. Cribs is banged up and brave himself, but Dunkley was fantastic. And for that laser leg of his, Kadeem Coleman, he's played some good games. That is the best of them.
Yep. 3 to Coleman, 2 to Dunkley, 1 to Bailey. MRO incidents. Arnold Thomas and Becker talked to a lawyer today. Starcevic hit Cripps with his head over the ball, but Cripps was unaffected by it, so I feel like a fine would be his worst results. AFL Nation for Tyre Power, your big finals favourites for tyre safety. Stephen King, thanks for being part of it.
Thank you, Jared.
Dermot Brereton, terrific.
And the Blues boys, they've packed up a long time ago. They're gone.
The Lions into the grand final, 16-point winners over Carlton. It's the Blues forward of halfway, bouncing ball. Harry up to attack it. Doherty's got it and passed it away to Cottrell. Open goal. He's on a bouncing run. He steadies and drives it through. The Blues get the opener. Curnow had front position. Mackay brought it to ground behind him. There's some holding going on. It's a Carlton free kick. Slide angle to the right. Harry makes his move. He blasts and he goes. Dead centre. That'll be good for everyone in navy blue. Wider still to Cripps. The kick inside 50 was softened for Doherty. Doherty lets fly. Fly, fly, my pretty. It's exhilarating stuff. Hand pass to Hewitt. The Blues come forward again. Charlie Curnow. Carlton trying to pour it on. Curnow. That's it as well. This is shock and awe in Brisbane. Links it up to Berry. Flowing at the 50. Pulls the kick. Hipwood. If ever Eric Hipwood needed a true boot, it is now. From 45, he's found it. Needed it desperately, the Lions, before the bell of quarter time. Runs to the 50, checked his kick and placed it ever so well to McInerney. The Lions looking to string a couple together. Oscar McInerney has it on target and sees it through. Receives the hand pass, has to do a U-turn though. Zorko, Danaher again. Now Danaher is clear. Kicks inside 50, missed his target. Cottrell onto the falling ball. McKenna wins it right back to make amends for the drop mark. He does with the goal. Neil is there to gather. He's desperate to get it off. He does. Lester with the curling shot. Oh, the Lions are charging. They are charging now. Great touch from McCarthy. Knocked the steal down. Gathered himself. Pulls the kick to Danaher. 30 out, directly in front. Joe to light the Gabba up. Brisbane are in front. What a salvage mission it's been. Hipwood's out the back. Marchbank trying to close him down. Hipwood turns. Hand pass for Charlie Cameron. Wheels around and goes. Strike up the band. Now he goes with the rifle shot to half forward. Archie couldn't quite haul it in, but broke through anyway. He kicks. It's an avalanche. That's 9 of the last 10 goals for the Lions. He wants to get it in and get it in with purpose. McCarthy, so good overhead. This is the link that might make it a bridge too far. McCarthy from close in sends the Lions to a 27-point lead. Boyd ran the gauntlet to get it up to half forward. Martin, sharp hand pass out the side. Hewitt has it against the boundary. Centering ball, Cripps. Cripps sends it on its way, and that's through for a goal. Much needed cause to cheer for the travelling Blues brigade. Hand pass to Newman, found a passage where there was none. Hand pass to Cripps, deft touch down to Walsh. Kick into the forward line, Harry! Left foot drop punt, he's found it this time. Good boy. 2 in quick succession for the Blues. So in it comes to Wiedering. It's devil-may-care stuff, and the kick came up short. Coleman marks. Hand pass to Gardner was an interesting choice. Gardner showed him the footy. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. He's kicked it to the goal line. McCarthy's taken it right there. The Lions fans know that this is the kill shot. Lincoln McCarthy from point blank range puts them into the grand final. 7 seconds to go. A bounce in the middle. High to work under. Tap came the way of Lyons, who's come in. Inside 50, spoil made on Hipwood. Bailey, what a gather. Siren sounds. A perfect season at the Gabba is the launching pad to the last day at the MCG.